news. Bad things coming too. But I never knew about the little things. Every single day, things get in my way. Someone has to pay for the little things. And I'm through with the scars and sick of my shoes and walking in the darkness. Got nothing to do with final solution. It's a box full of shit, and I'm through with the cares when there's nothing to fix. When there's nothing to fix. When there's nothing to fix. And it all comes down to you.
Welcome to Pilgrim on Wrestling. Now, time for the show.
I'm gonna tell you what's so funny. I'm so damn tired and about out of it. I was like, did I send him the invite?
No, you did. It was today was a little chaotic, and I started talking to the lady, and I had to be like, "Wait, shit!" You probably, because I didn't hear the thing go off for whatever reason. I didn't put my phone on mute yet, but yeah, sorry. It was a chaotic day. I woke up a little later than I wanted, and I had to go do some chores, or and then race back to do the podcast. So and also I gotta buy a new little. I put my phone as of the moment. Eventually, we'll have like microphones and a super nice setup, but
yeah.
I had my phone on a little stand in my little makeshift studio, and I need to get a new one because this one was, first of all, everything is all over the place from coming back from Exxxotica. So I had to hunt down the one piece and then like play MacGyver to make it do what it's meant to do.
Oh yeah. So man, yeah, today been crazy for me too, bro. Between being like tired, because I feel like I don't get enough sleep for shit.
Well, you do like 700 shows a week, and
and see, what killed me is like when you deal with people on the West Coast, because sometimes my shows be like later than what I would prefer, and I'm not young like I used to, where I can sit here and be up all night and be able to go to work the next day like it ain't shit, or drink all night and smoke all night and go to work like the next day. Oh no, I'm not 20 no more.
I could still do that, but there has to be a reason. Like I could stay up and like watch TV, or read a book, but like I could be up all night doing all those things, but the energy has to be right. The people that I'm dealing with have to be right.
Yeah.
It's gotten more. There has to be a narrative as opposed to like this is what we're doing. Because I didn't realize it's like at home, but I didn't really when I was in Chicago. Like I kind of did, but it was that weird. You're asleep, but you're not. Like if you were talking, I would be able to hear you. Then it would become a part of whatever I'm dreaming. So like if you're talking about sandwiches, I'm thinking like a sandwich with Kavanaugh's voice is like fucking, like asking me to do a podcast about, like salad dressing or something. And I'm like, wait, what? So, and then all week, and I do apologize to the fans. We are doing the thing on the Sheik. I did not have a moment between, and again, I meant to do it on Monday, but like I was so, I lost one of my hats that I never lose a hat like on the trip home, and then I almost I just been sleeping all day and then whatever, and I just now yesterday finally got back to 100% normal. So I have not had a chance to read the book. I'm going to actually start it after the show, and then hopefully, so next show we do. We'll have the review and everything. And I also have an update on the saga of the Amazon book. Well, this is interesting because I collect books and first editions, and I give myself little projects where I'll pick an author and I'm like, okay, I'm going to collect all their stuff in first edition, first print hardcover. And right now intermittently tackling Stephen King, and I'm kind of almost there to where I am down to the like. Eventually, within the next couple of months, like the only ones left are going to be the original 6, which are the most expensive. And I love Stephen King. He's one of my favorite authors, and I would like to achieve this goal before he passes away, because then all the prices are going to go ridiculous. But I got a bunch of books, and I brought it back to my thing, and I'm doing one of my favorite things in the world. I'm fucking around in my library, reorganizing stuff and putting new books. And one of them, turns out, it's the Chic book from Amazon. And if those of you who maybe listen to the show religiously, I told them to cancel that, and they didn't. So I called them, and I immediately was like, I gave them the whole narrative, and I didn't go right off the bat like hardcore, but I was like, let me tell you, and yada yada yada. And essentially, I explained the whole thing in great detail, and I said, and here's the deal. The word "I'll see what I could do" or "possibly" are not in your vocabulary right now. Like, you're giving me a refund. And I actually, it's funny because I had the TV on the background, and I said I would rather throw my fucking daughter off a bridge than let you have this $20. Now, one, for the people at home, I don't have a daughter, but the thing was, they was watching something and like a little kid's noise came like over the TV, and I literally and I just. Old comic instinct. I pulled the phone away from my face. I'm like, no, sweetheart, daddy loves you. He's just playing with a friend on the phone. Daddy would never throw you off a bridge. Go see your mom. And then I was just like, Daddy would never do that. I'm like, I would so throw that fat face, braid wearing, braces needing little bitch off the fucking thing. And I'd throw her so hard she would bounce twice before she hit the water. And I was just like, you're not keeping that $20. And to this guy's credit, he was like, I kept asking him, like, did you guys just send me this as a weird form of apology? Because I'll keep it, but I'm not paying for it. But so you can just take it back. And then I explained to them, and it's true, in Atlanta, a major city that I live in, it's supposed to be a major city. There's one place, if you don't have a printer, there's one place where you can go to drop off a package to Amazon to return it. They'll print up a thing. One. There's several places you could just go drop stuff off, but they have Amazon. Apparently, Amazon's on hard times, so they have one printer for a major metropolitan city. Maybe it's all the black people. They're afraid you guys are going to steal the printer or something. I don't know. Jeff Bezos looks like a racist penis. So and so long story longer, the guy does some kind of magic, and then he's like, well, you don't have to return the book, and we're giving your money back. And they sent me an email. Like, I'm like, well, I'm going to keep an eye on my shit. If I don't see that money pop back onto my credit card, we're going to have an issue. Because I'm like, well, I have somebody, like, normally I would just use that as the book. Because my wrestling books don't leave the house because they're all wrestling books go from new to extremely rare and expensive, like in a day. So none of my wrestling books leave the thing unless I have a copy. And I was like, well, I could beat up the copy and everything. And then I thought, you know what? Fuck it. So probably tomorrow, you gotta resend me your address. I'm gonna send you the copy that Amazon gave me of the sheet to
I'll
you.
read that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I figured. I figured, you can read that. You want the book, so I'm gonna reseal the little package they sent it in, and just take it to the thing tomorrow, mail it to you. You probably get it by Friday if I mail it tomorrow.
Shit, I probably that shit by next week. I probably at work.
So the thing is, well, I'm a weirdo. Like I said, I'm a being a bibliophile is different than loving books. Like the Chic book, I wash my hands obsessively when I read certain books to make sure that no smudges, and I have to polish. There's a whole deal. But
see, I was like that with comic books until all my comic books got lost.
I want to hopefully, as the years go more in my favor and I make more money, I would like to go back to collecting comic books. And being a collector is like, all right, well, it got to be one thing. And comic books a little bit more involved.
One, I had Spawn one.
Oh yeah.
I was like, and what happened was with family ain't shit can be ain't shit sometimes. We had lost my mom's house, and we had to put everything in the
I know where this is going. And the storage unit fucked up or something, and took all your shit.
We just were able to keep up with the storage unit. And what was so fun, and so they ended up just selling everything. I guess just
Yeah, they auction, and I've
yeah.
had that happen to me twice. The first time I didn't even owe them that much money, and I lost like pictures. I lost stuff that could never be replaced. I mean, the comics that I lost, and I lost comics in both incidences with the storage unit. The comics can, if you're willing to pay the money and do the footwork, you can replace
the comic books.
But comic books are a little bit more involved. So with books are kind of
I couldn't even replace because like I had these comic book called Oriental Heroes, which you can only found in one comic book store in all of North Carolina, which was what I always used to go to in Chapel Hill. And I had like 1 through 50, and I had 3 more that I was looking for to finish. I guess to finish all the way up to 60. And I ended up losing those comic books, and I was like, man.
Yeah. I have some. Like I have some that I somehow managed to survive my last move from New York. I have like the entire Secret Wars series with the appearance of the black costume for the first time. And that's, and I have some other stuff that has more sentimental value than probably financial value. But yeah,
I lost when Batman got his back broke. The whole series.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
I had that whole series all the way up until the end where he came back and fought Azrael to get his suit back.
Well, and that's why I said on the show, I think a couple episodes back, and I'll say it again here in case I didn't. If a book comes out, like a wrestling book, that has any remote effort put into it and or is on somebody that you like, somebody of like so for example, the Jimmy Valiant book went from $35 that I kept putting off getting is now like $156 because now unless you like meet Jimmy Valiant himself, you got to go through a seller. And then the other one was Brutus Beefcake's book, which I forget. I think it was during the pandemic or whatever, but it was one of those books that I knew, like, okay, I probably should jump on this regardless of whether it's a good book or not. And now that book is like $50, $75 because a lot of times you only do one print, and then once that's sold, it's sold. Like I have one book I got recently, Bluegrass Brawls, and that one went from just always being around to all of a sudden now it's become harder to find, and the price is going up. The Kamala biography, which we will also at one time soon cover on this show, I bought that for $25, and now it is again out of print, and so now it's automatically like 3 figures. So with wrestling books, anyone that like looks like it might be of any interest or is somebody that writes wrestling books or whatever, just get it, pay the cover price and wait. If you have the extra money at the time, buy 2 or 3 copies and put one on your bookshelf and wrap up the other 2 and just set them in the closet. And then, you could, that also entered my mind with this extra sheet book. But then I thought, this book is ECW Press is different. And this book was so popular out the gate that they're going to probably do a second printing. So I was like, fuck it, I'll give it to Kavanaugh. He would, at least the book would be appreciated and, have a good home. So yeah,
I just finished the original Black Panther. That book was very good.
Yeah. Why am I blanking on his name? Because I don't have it right in front of me. John Cosper is a really good writer, and he there's a certain art to writing, and he really has it, and it makes it easy. It's a fun read and it's an easy read, but he crams a lot of information into the thing, and that's a talent, that I don't think gets. So I will say that about John Cosper is that he has the ability to write. He can give you all the facts and give you all the detail, but it's like a fun read and it moves. There are people, various famous authors that it's like eating dry crackers in humidity. It's like, oh my God, and being a lover of books, you try to muscle through it, and it's like, holy fuck. So he has a real talent and a knack for writing, which, he's a great historian, but also I don't think he gets enough credit for being a good writer.
Yeah. So shoot. Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pilgrim on Wrestling. I'm not going to do the loud intro that I normally do because That's on the intro that y'all just heard. And today, we're going to be joined a little bit later by Gerald Roberts. Y'all remember him from one of the previous episodes when he came in. We reviewed WrestleMania. And today we're going to review WrestleMania Backlash, as well as discuss some interesting things that I've been seeing developing when it comes to Ring of Honor, which we'll get to in the Pro Wrestling Smoke section in a few minutes. But first, we want to catch up with Mr. Billy Pilgrim, our wonderful host, about his trip to Exxxotica.
Yeah,
and we do want to hear that. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was actually, I've been to 3, and this by far was the best one. And I've already resigned I'm going to Miami, and I'm looking forward to it. Miami really does it the best. And actually, that reminds me, I got to get my hotel room this week for that one. But I'm going into Miami with no expectations. That's how good Chicago was. And want to say a quick thing to the listeners. I've been unusually busy. And Kavanaugh, again, doing 803 shows and also being an honest, hardworking, blue-collar man. We've been off schedule a little bit, but we're going to correct that. We used to have midweek meetings, but with his 937 shows, he's been a little busy. So, and I try not to, because I know he's working, and he's
and see, you also know you were going to be going to Exxxotica.
And also I try to bend to your schedule, or at least your schedule, because you're the hardest working man in podcasting. Plus, like I said, you got a family, you got a beautiful wife, you got all this other stuff going on.
Thank you.
And I understand that the time in the day. So we're going to be going back to the midweek meetings, and we're going to be back on a regular schedule. But with Exxxotica, it started off rocky because I had a scene get canceled because of a medical emergency. And I don't want to say the talent's names. I don't want to give personal business out, but she had it canceled. It was a legitimate reason. And I, it was like, okay, that's obviously it's not and then I was supposed to do something with Paisley Hayes. And she was also at the same time having a really chaotic, rough start to Exxxotica at the exact same time, and we're kind of talking, and we're both being kind of cankerous. And the last couple of weeks have been rough for me, and I've been very frustrated with my career and just everything else. So I was like, if this trip goes for shit, I really don't know how much. I mean, I was like, fuck, really, I was gonna have to have a come to Jesus meeting and be like, okay. Can I mean, if this trip doesn't go well, what the fuck? But Spooky, or at least her Twitter handle is Spooky Fat Brad. I prefer.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah.
She's beautiful. It was my first time working with her, and she was gorgeous and easy to work with and fun and sexy as fuck. And we had a great shoot. And it was filmed by Crystal Blue, and that set the tone, that reset the tone. It was like a restart. And I don't normally like to give super graphic details, but I did make her squirt, which is always a nice first impression to make on a girl. And she was tired and kind of a little banged up in the sense of like traveling and late night already. But so the fact I was able to pull that off, that's a nice little impression. But I am probably going to drop that scene next month, and it was really good, and it set a great tone. And then I went to the expo. I sprung for the 3-day VIP thing, and I met, networking couldn't have gone better. Like a lot of really big names started following me on social media, and I actually got to interact with them, like Alex Cole and Miss Dandy. And super nice ladies. I was really impressed with all the women working the expo, because if you're my fan, I love you, and I'm appreciative, and I hope I get to the level where I get to have a booth or something, or whatever, so where I can meet my fans. And I'll sit there all day and shake hands and take pictures and talk to fans if they want to talk to me. But the thing that really amazed me that night as I walked around, because I was there for like 4 or 5 hours, not a hair out of place, not a makeup smudge. Like, they didn't look exhausted, they didn't look tired, they looked pristine and perfect, like they just showed up, and they were engaging. Like, Alex Cole is a goddamn machine. If you don't follow her, go follow her. If you don't know her stuff, go watch it. She's just really great talent. But all these ladies were just flawless the entire time, and I'm like, that's what a star does. Because I'm not gonna lie, I hope one day I get the chance to work a booth so I can meet fans. And like I said, I would stay there all day, but by the end, I'm gonna look like, Gollum with a hangover. It's like you're gonna see the wear and tear, but I'm gonna be in that moment with you because I'm so appreciative. But I'm gonna look like shit. By like person 200, they're gonna be like, "Should we call you an ambulance?" Like, no, I'm fine, I'm good. Is that thing on your neck always supposed to pulse like that? No, it's fine. I call him Herbert. He's good. He's good. He's happy to see you too. Say hi, Herbert. But yeah, so got to make more people than I was very surprised how many people knew who I was. And then the next day was the big day. I had 3 shoots, and with the biggest and most important one being at the last one of the day, I shot finally with Sarah Starr, who is based out of New Orleans, and Man Fury is a really good a photographer and a camera person.
A long time ago, it never came to fruition.
Yeah, he's a really great talent, and he filmed us. But her and I have been trying to do this for like years now with the pandemic and everything. But she is gorgeous, and it was just, I was like, I don't really want to do a plot. I just want to dive into it because I've been waiting like almost 2.5 years for this, and it was. It was amazing, and she's amazing. You should probably try to get her on the show. She's just a ball of personality.
Yeah, out to her, or if you have to talk to her again, just put a bug in the ear for us.
Yeah, I'll throw. I will totally. And then later that day, I worked with Ruby Sinclair. I worked with her before, and she has kind of a Jessica Rabbit, like I just came off the red carpet kind of look to her when she gets all done up. And I had my partner and producer Carrie from Salacious Perceptions record us, and because I'm trying to kind of re-up, I'm trying to raise my brand, I'm trying to raise my level, so I like having camera people on set, and we had a really good scene, and that went really well, and I love Ruby. And then the big event of the entire weekend, actually the first event, the second biggest one, I met Sean Lawless and the producer of Plumber Pass, and, kind of did some networking there, and it went very well. And I was very encouraged because like every time I passed by him after the initial conversation, like he was engaging in eye contact, and like, we kind of chatted several more times as I passed by if we happened to bump into each other. So that gave me, like, okay, good. Like it's one other thing if every time you're in their hove of vision, they're like, hey, so that was the thing. I'm like, good. Every time he walks by, he's acknowledging me and smiling. But I got to shoot an audition with Blush Erotica, which is a really high-end company. They do very high-end
Blush Erotica, big Smoke Buddy. I got to bring him back on. Well, the center photographer.
Yes. I'm not gonna lie. If that was the best environment on a set that I've ever been in, I'm not joking, and that's not even exaggerating. I'm not even playing kiss up. I'll kiss up to him in a minute. But if I could get that vibe and that just overall environment on every single set, I'm not lying. I'd be winning AVN awards like every year, like they were prizes at the county fair, because it was just so at ease. Like the energy involved him and his lovely wife, and like I already shot twice that day, and it'd been a long weekend already, but none of that came into play. They had this amazing talent for me. Princess Dandy, who also I think I'm going to drop a thing. It'd be like, hey, you should do the show. She is this beautiful BBW, and she's also she's like a dominatrix and does like a lot of fetish stuff. And we just had great chemistry off the bat, and we did 2 things that night. The audition, everything couldn't have gone any better. The only way it could have been better is if he had taken a contract to just put it on the counter. Like, I want to sign you exclusive for the next year. That's the only way it could have been better, because we instantly vied with cinematographer, and her and I were on a thing. and we did something really unique. It was a great audition for me because we did two things in just a hair over an hour, and we knocked them out, and they were perfect. I did a virtual reality POV with Princess Dandy, and it was very interesting because the camera, it looks basically like the stand that you put your lights on, with a little box, like a little box on the very tip of it. And essentially, as a guy, you lay down flat, and they lower this thing like an inch or two from your face. So you can't speak and you cannot move your head. So you have to lay flat. You can kind of move your hands, but that's about it. So you just got to stay there. And I was there. I was in it. And she talked through the entire 10 minutes because she was doing the narrative, and she did an amazing job. But I have no idea what it looked like because all I could stare at was the ceiling. And I was a little nervous about that, but it went amazing. And I found out after that was the first time he had tested the equipment and like made a go of doing a virtual reality scene, and he was thrilled with the demo that we did. He was absolutely thrilled. So I was like, all right, good, bonus points. And then and in Exxxotica, it's always like you gotta move. It's just there's time, and then there's Exxxotica time. So then we immediately got into doing the scene, and Princess Dandy is a natural as far as doing porn, but she is relatively new to the, I guess we'll just say, regular porn. She does a lot of fetish stuff. She's very good at it. But so I was like, you know what? And again, I'm trying, like, one, we hit it off, but I also always want to make my co-star look the best it can. So it's like, if it helps, because I didn't know the level of her experience, I'm like, you can dominate me for the first half of the scene, and you can do whatever, your experience. So I put myself in your hands. The only thing is, don't make me like too much of a, like, I can't be a sissy, and don't make me too much of a bitch, because then we have to do the upswing where we go into me fucking you. And so, so I trust you to lead that first half of the scene. And we did everything in one take. And it went perfectly. And we had, again, amazing chemistry. She automatically jumped to like in the top 3 of my favorite performers to work with. And we didn't, like I said, we didn't have to stop. She gave me all the right signals, and I just like followed her lead because, she started out dominant, and it was kind of like a power struggle. And he was very happy, which is always important. And his wife is incredibly awesome. She has this amazing energy that just makes you feel welcomed, and almost like, like basically, if the feeling of your mom giving you like a hot bowl of soup on a cold day when you're sad were a person, like that's her. Like that's like that level of like warmth, and just kind of like you're welcome and you're secure. So they were amazing people. And they a couple days later, they sent me an amazing DM, and I've never, kind of almost brought a tear to my eyes. So like, I'm going to shoot for Blush Erotica. That's one of the things I've been wanting to talk about. Same thing with Plumper Pass. I kind of spilled the beans on that one. I haven't shot with them yet, but it's on the right track. But Blush Erotica was one of the things that was kind of on deck, and they are going to use me. It's just they're not sure when, and they really were impressed with my acting. And I was on such, and again, the fact that we did two things perfectly in one shot in a hair over an hour, because you had to throw in like trying to do paperwork after you. But it was, I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't have asked, and it was amazing, and I can't wait to work for them. And they make the kind of stuff that I want to do. So that was like incredible, and went out to the host hotel bar where all the industry was, and kind of hung out there for a while with the crew, and again did some more socializing. Sunday, I was supposed to shoot, and I didn't get a chance to. It's a long story, but I was waiting, and I never got the call from the producer. But again, more networking, met more amazing talent on the expo floor, and essentially, like, one of the things, I was kind of annoyed. Normally, I would have been annoyed that the shoot didn't happen, because that was one of the reasons why I traveled to Chicago. And I didn't book anything on Sunday because I never got a clear schedule. So like by the time I found out, it was too late to try to book anybody. You recommended a girl. I'm blanking on her name. Lola.
Yeah, Lola.
And I wanted to shoot with her. I really did. But I owed a loyalty to my producer, and I wound up meeting the talent I was supposed to shoot with, which kind of was sad because we really hit it off. It was kind of sad that we didn't get to shoot, but I had heard and several other people wanted to shoot with me, but I'm like, waiting to hear on the shoot on Sunday, and it never came about. And then by the time it did, it was too late in the day. And then it was like, well, I only get to see this one particular person ever so often, and we have not had a time to spend time together. So it's like, all right, so I didn't get anything done on Sunday, but other than some more networking. And to any aspiring male talent at your first Exxxotica, here's a little insider tip. If you meet, get the VIP, spring for the VIP thing, because, it doesn't mean you're automatically talent, but it definitely helps. But also, when you meet a female talent, say hello, blah, 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 and be nice, be polite. Let them, whether they want to leave with a hug or a handshake, talk, chit chat, be professional, be business minded. Don't, because again, these are women that are like, they work for Brazzers, they work for, Reality Kings, they work for Team Skeet. Don't like, hey, can we shoot together? I'd love to shoot with you one day. Just talk about, like, hey, how are you? How's everything going? Da 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 da. And then keep it moving, like short and sweet, professional, and keep it moving, because they're working. Technically, you are too, but they're working at a booth. They're making money. They've got fans to meet. So a little, hi, how are you? My name is so and so. How you doing? You're a great talent. I love your stuff. Blah blah blah. And then you move, and leave a good impression, and just keep it moving. Don't dawdle. But I had a moment on Sunday where I would have normally been annoyed about the shoot on Sunday, especially after meeting the girl, because she was pretty awesome. That the thing that kind of came out of the whole Exxxotica was that like the temperature definitely changed. Like, that the way the temperature changes before a storm hits, that things like definitely shifted in a direction. Things from today going forward are different, and it's all kind of, the landscape change in a good way, and it was kind of surreal because like I've been pushing for something like Blush, and it's gonna happen. I wish it would happen tomorrow.
Yeah, Blush is, I like their shit, especially because it's kind of old school with it, and they put the voiceover over top of the sex scene.
Yes, and they said the same thing, that I met a talent, and I was, and her name's kind of hard to pronounce. I don't want to slaughter it. I'm learning how to say it properly on a regular basis, but she was incredible. And we were talking, and we kind of finally met and whatever. And I mentioned my Halloween idea because she's big into cosplay and horror. And I mentioned this idea that I've been wanting to do. And before I could finish the idea, she's like, I want to do that. And I actually had to stop myself from going, well, you realize I'm going to be the guy in the scene. Because the thing is, there's a lot of people in the industry I would love to work with, and it's not going to happen for several reasons. Sometimes you just don't fit their brand, or you're not the type of guy that they work with. So I was like, yeah. And ironically, you're the one I kind of wanted for this scene. I mean, I wanted you to be a part of my Halloween project regardless, but this is the kind of scene that I used you as a visual when I was putting it together. So I would have did it today. I would have went to the art craft store and all that other stuff to kind of start researching, building the set and everything. But we had to record the show. But it was like, okay, wow. I was content with you following me on Twitter and us kind of getting along. And then you jump in with this. I'm down for that. And I introduced her to Carrie and Lyric and, and everything, and also, another thing that actually kind of was a hit that I'm on. There's like several things been happening that are like, okay, I guess I'm more on the rise than I realize, or I've hit a different level and I haven't realized it yet. One, there was some weird bullshit drama involving me where I would explain it now on the show, but we're already 33 minutes in, and it was so convoluted and like, how the fuck did you get here? That I was like, I had to literally walk the girl that brought it to my attention, like literally walk her through like for 5 minutes of what the reality of the situation was, which and the best part about it is the female talent that thinks I talk shit about her. I not only have I never talked shit about her, we have never spoken. And we followed each other for about 5 minutes on Twitter until I noticed she unfollowed me, and that's a pet peeve of mine. Like, if you're a talent, you want to unfollow me, go ahead, but like, don't leave me following you. And then I was like, yeah, we'd never spoken a sentence to each other. I met her at Exxxotica and I said hi, and her hi was kind of contentious and I didn't know why. And then I found out like 20 minutes later, oh, that's why. And we talked about it off the show, but yeah, it was just weird. And I'm like, I know you got to watch what you say on set and everything, but it's like, I didn't realize that now I had to be a mime, that innocuous stuff. When you talk about the industry, and nobody in particular, that, okay, now people are going to take what I say and put it into a package and then slap somebody's name on it and like, mail it to somebody. It's like, what, like, really? Like, are you that crazy? And the other thing was that kind of it hit me when the third person said this to me was like 3 BBWs came up to me, 2 that I've actually worked with and I've praised and we would always work with. If like, if they, you can't work with everybody every time you see them, but it's, I have a thing of if I like you and you need me to shoot like 3 scenes in a day with you, and then I see you a month later and you need another 3 scenes, I'm happy to do it. Doesn't mean we're going to release them all in one day. But 3 BBWs came up to me like, they said, don't forget about us or don't stop shooting with BBWs now. And I was like, I didn't realize I was going anywhere. I didn't, am I moving? Like, what's going on? And for those who don't know, it is a thing where guys who start in the industry will film with BBWs. And then the second they get in with like a blush,
and then they stop filming with BBWs.
Yeah, once they get in with companies or like bigger producers or whatever, they jump to filming with like the Matty Collinses and the, and all the little ones of the industry, or like, the bigger names and so on. And I was like, I have been 2 things from the beginning of catching people's attention that I've been consistent with is, 1, I always shout out and give thanks to people that have helped me. Like, I'm where I'm at right now, like Danica Denali, Carrie from Salacious Perceptions, Lyric Sky, Team VP Media, Mr. Nuts, aka if these people,
because to stop you, dudes don't have to do that and it won't hurt their career. It's just they're afraid that the women that they're trying to attract may not want to work with them, because I done ran into that where you might have a small girl and she sees you work with a bunch of BBWs and the first thing she hollers is, well, do I fit what you're looking for? I don't fit your site. I'm like, it ain't got shit to do with you being small. If I want to work with you, you fit what the fuck I'm trying to do.
Yeah, well, exactly. I'd make up ideas. Like that actually happened. I met Melissa Johnson, and she's a big deal. And she was like, she was kind of shy. It's like, do you want to? I'm like, I work with everybody. It's the reality is I do like curvy big women, but I like all women. So like my path in porn led with them first, where somebody, if I would have started with the companies, I would have started with the little 90-pound girls. I want to work with everybody and every age group. So some of that, when I work for a company, they're going to put me with where I fit or what image they want me to be. Whereas when I shoot my own thing, I'm gonna bring in who I want. So I want to work with everybody, but it is a thing in the industry. But 2 things that I've been consistent about, starting to get people's attention and gain momentum, is I've always praised the people that, like I said, Carrie, Salacious Perceptions, and all these other, Danica Denali. I always give them credit because I'm doing these things, and there's a couple of big companies that are now on their radar, and it's because of these people vouching for me. But the other thing is, I've always praised and said I will always work with BBWs, because again, another reason why I'm here why I have the show, why I'm doing this, and so on and so forth, is because of BBW. So I'm trying to work with Plumper Pass. You know, I would, you know, I want to work. I'm going to work with them forever, and you know, and and it's kind of funny, because that they would say that, because I've always been very clear, because I know that's a thing that guys will abandon them the second, but I've been like championing. But it's kind of funny also that I've kind of hit a wall with trying to shoot with new ones, because it's like a weird, like it's kind of slowly slow down trying to meet and work with new BBWs. So that's why I was kind of very happy to work with Spooky and Sarah, so that, hey, could you spread the word to maybe a new vine of performers, because, you know, there is that ongoing thing of, oh, there's not enough white talent, or white talent's so rare, or it's hard to find good white talent, or whatever. And it's like, no, actually, there's a lot, and they're there. It's that either they're held to a different standard, as far as, you know, that you require them to have a certain standard or a status before you work with them, or they're in no particular hurry to work with you. I had a conversation with a producer while I was out running errands, and we talked about a talent that swore up and down and was so happy to meet me because she needs white male talent. And she was like, oh, and I'm like, hey, let's become partners. We could, you know, because I'm trying to do this particular style of porn, and I want to make it a brand, and I want to, you know, whatever. I have goals. Let's do this. That was months ago. And ironically, I'm going on a road trip at the end of the month to shoot more stuff with like Christy Wett and some other you know, really great people. And he's like, yeah, she's not going to make it. I'm like, I heard that she might be there, but I knew for a fact she was not going to be coming. And, you know, again, we talked about this, and I'm not mad at it, but it's like, I'm kind of tired of hearing it. It's like, look, I get it, but, you know, it's, again, if I need more content with Spanish women, and more content with Asian women, and more content with like different, you know, like older women, and so on and so forth. So when that chance is offered to me, I'm gonna do everything I can to get it on set.
Yeah, because I wanted to work with Asians, Indian. I had the opportunity to work with some Hispanics.
I have a lot of, if any producers listen to this, I have a lot of Indian and Pakistani fans. And they keep asking me, like, would you work, or would you, you know, and I've dated Indian women, and you know, kind of
see, it's hard to find them. That's the point. If those willing to work.
But yeah, because it's a cultural thing. Same thing with like Arab women. Like you said, I like all women. So that is something I've been looking into. Or if there's like an Indian, Pakistani, Arab woman, they usually jump right into working with a company. They don't really do the content creator thing. But I'm totally like, if you're a female performer from East Asia, or you're Arabic,
you should try to hit up Sarah Arabic, or my girl Sam Singh.
I followed her a couple times. I could never get her to follow back, and I kind of reached out a few times, and just like no response. I know of Sarah Arabic, but I was like, I don't know if either she just never saw me trying to get her attention, or if it's one of those things where I have yet to reach the plateau to where she would. And this is not a knock on her. Please don't think that I'm, you know, because she's gorgeous, but it's one of those things where, again, you kind of, it's a weird thing. Like I've been hearing stuff about people talking about me and saying good things, and so, you know, it's kind of a weird moment for me where things are buzzing, but I'm not fully aware of it. So when people say things like, we were talking about you, or, oh, this girl was asking about you, and I'm like, oh wait, what, really? So I don't have that thing of like, yeah, I'm a big deal. I'm like, it's more like, wait, what? I'm kind of becoming what? Huh? Me? You sure? Are you sure? Billy, BILLYPIL. Really? Billy? Yeah, really? Okay. That's you know. But I would work with Sarah Arabic in a New York minute. But again, I have yet to, and she was at Exxxotica, and I totally missed her. But we had not had a reason. We just haven't crossed paths in any way, shape, or form, and I haven't been able to get her attention. And I don't like to be obnoxious with that shit. But it was a great weekend. And like, again, here's the thing: there are out there, and what happens is, one of two things happens with white male talent. They either start their own little company, which I'm in the process of doing, and they just do their own thing, or they jump into the companies, which I am finally got a toe in the door with Blush Erotica, and I am literally running towards the mainstream paid shoot thing with my arms flailing like Kermit the Frog, yelling. And it's a thing of, it's just easier, and it's like, and that's where you're going to get the work. It's not, I'm sure some guys like can't look at a Marley Daily and go, I can't handle that, or they get intimidated. But I want to work with all different types and sizes. But you can't, if you're able to shoot, you really, I'm not going to wait around like 9 months or something like that when there's no reason to wait 9 months. So I'm like, okay, I'm not a priority, so I'm going to put you on the back burner by proxy. And, and again, I don't get mad. I just kind of roll my eyes when I hear people say it. And the ones that actually mean it are the ones that call me back or book me. So it's like, oh, you really do need, my look or whatever. But yeah, any Spanish talent, Asian, Indian, Pakistani, over 50, over 60, any little spinner types. I'm down to work with anybody, and I got a great team of producers with me now. And I'm associated with a lot of great talent. So like we can make fire shit. So hit me up. I am literally the easiest guy in the industry to book. You ask me, and then you tell me a date, and then I say yes, and then I write it down, and then that's it. I don't do games because games don't pay. If I wanted to do games, I would become a host, and like Center Square says, but yeah, that was the whole experience. I'm definitely feeling a lot better about my career, and definitely very positive. And like I said, things are now kind of happening where once that I'm able to shoot official scene with Blush and have that come out, that's definitely going to change everything for me. If I get Plumper Pass and some of the other stuff that's on deck and I'm waiting to hear, and again, it's all about time. That's the one thing. It's hurry up and wait in porn. And I'm just really grateful and happy. And I thrive better with a camera person on set, and I kind of thrive better. Some people do better with just when they're the running of the show. That was one of the things that happened with Exxxotica. I heard a lot of female talent talking about the difference, because after the pandemic, there were all these content creators, and this is mainly for male talent, where there's porn star, which I let other people call me that. I call myself male talent, but I mean, it's like, okay, porn star, and then there's content creator, and porn star can kind of do both. But I thrive on a set with like lights and a camera person and people walking around and everybody being on the same page. Like I love that. And I could do, on my own with, an Abby or sake of argument, a Spit Queen. If I ever meet her, it's like, yeah, we could do I have lights and camera equipment and everything, whereas content creators, I've heard a couple of stories about guys showing up and they're not used to other people being there, and then like a camera person being there. And I've heard stories about some of the dudes having a little bit of an issue, and that's not a knock, because if you're a talent of any grade, you have had that bad day on set. But it was interesting to hear, like the difference. And it's like, well, there's some of them are going to get because they have a lot of fans and make some money. They're going to get offers from companies, and one or two things are going to happen. They're going to thrive or they're going to fail, and they're just going to okay, I only do this. Because usually with companies, you have to do 3 scenes with them before you're really, made and in the rotation. You got to get through 3 scenes so they know, oh, okay, this guy's okay. This is the dude. We're good. We're going to put him in the rotation. And some of those guys are going to be able to do that. And a lot of guys, it's like, oh, I can only do my thing my way, where I have all the control. Nothing wrong with that. But that's why I'm always been hesitant with the term porn star. It's like, I feel like weirdly I've earned the right to call myself that, but I still prefer other people to say that about me as opposed to me just saying it. Whereas, some guys like, yes, you're not a porn star, you're a content creator, you're making money, be happy with that.
Shit, man, fuck that, you a porn star. And with that, now we need to move on to Pro Wrestling Smoke. And you know how we started off always. We started off with the sultry, sexy voice and wonderful words of one of the legends of the square circle. And I'm talking about the one and only Gordon Soley. So welcome to the Gordon Soley Poetry Hour, Poetry Corner.
We've got it all.
Welcome, friends, to another edition of Gordon Soley's Poetry Corner with your host, Billy Pilgrim and Kavanaugh. And it's so lovely that they have me here every week. And I'm really happy for Billy and his journey to Chicago. I knew a girl in Chicago, and, well, let's just say there's a reason why they called it the Windy City, but still, she was a fun gal, up for anything. Just open a window. So today, we're going to talk about the narrow road. Preach to me of fire and brimstone. Tell me of hell and damnation. Show me the narrow, unpaved road to heaven. Lead me away from cards and the lucky seven. Cure me of drink and women. Improve my posture and stop my smoke. Give me Graham on Sunday. Tip my money and leave me broke. My only comment will be, well, let's all go. And let's all go together into taking risks and going forward in life and living the best way we can with the cards that we have. And always remember, when a woman tells you to open a window, it's best to do it. Kavanaugh?
Thank you, Mr. Soley, for another wonderful, wonderful poem. And I hope you enjoy your cognac and your drink at the bar.
Oh, always, Kavanaugh, always.
No doubt, no doubt. So, and everybody, also for the listeners, Pro Wrestling Smoke will be back next Monday. We'll be recording it sometime this week. So, for all you subscribers that's been saying, where the fuck is my Pro Wrestling Smoke? Hold on. It's coming. So,
yeah, like we said in the long, and I knew the opening was going to be long because of going to Exxxotica. We're going to be back on track because I'm going to, like I said, Kavanaugh has 1,500 podcasts, and again, works a job, and he's a good husband and everything, and a family man. And I just been weirdly out of whack and just then busy. So I'm gonna impose my will a little bit more during the week, and we'll go back to having the midweek meetings that were like a really good anchor for us. And then next week,
and we have Gerald here. Go ahead, finish, Billy.
Oh no! And then next week, 100%, there will be the Ode to the Old School on the Chic and a review of the book by Brian R. Solomon. So back to you.
Yes. And we had just been joined by friend of the show, as well as the owner of the radio station that we're on, BGP, the BGP app, and the SGP radio station. I'm talking about Mr. Gerald Roberts. Hey, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, guys. I got a lot is going on, even right now as we speak.
Oh, my God, man.
But I'm good. How y'all doing?
Doing good, doing fabulous. Coming off a pretty good week. Watch Backlash, which we will get into in a minute. And what I wanted to talk about starting off is we're seeing the Ring of Honor starting to form, because just recently we had Tony Dapin, damn, I can't think of his name, the former television champion. He was on AEW Evolution. Plus, for some of you people that don't know, they've been underneath a rock, them boys is the Impact Tag Team Champs.
The Briscoes, the brothers.
Which is funny how they're in Impact, which pretty soon I'm pretty sure they're going to end up in AEW and back on Ring of Honor at some point.
You think
because
so?
They're still around. Yeah.
All right, I got something to say about that later on.
Oh my God! You can go ahead and say it now, so we talk about it. Go ahead.
You think that Briscoe will be back on AEW?
I think not AEW, but Ring of Honor.
Okay,
I don't think they're AEW. It's because one, they're always going to be beholden to Ring of Honor, and two, I don't think Tony will be dumb to let them just get away. So even though he can't have them on AEW, they still have Ring of Honor shows, and Ring of Honor may not even be on any of the TBS stations. You feel what I'm saying?
And we all know why they can't go on AEW TV, right? Because of a mean tweet from a decade ago that he didn't even mean and apologize for, right?
I'm sorry, this sensitive era just makes no goddamn sense, yo.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it's funny how people tripped off of these guys saying what they said, but then Matt Riddle, no disrespect to Matt Riddle, did not get fired and let go, and he was straight up accused of sexual assault.
Yeah, but it was a bogus claim, though.
Yeah, I mean, but even your boy had a bogus claim. They kicked his ass up out of there.
Who?
From the other side of MSK.
Oh,
exactly.
I forgot his name. The white guy, right? Yeah,
yeah. Which I just saw now that he's supposed to be starting his back in independence with Circle 6 Wrestling in Florida, in Orlando.
So it turned out to be a bogus claim?
The Matt Riddle one, yeah. The
Matt Riddle one, yeah.
You know, that really bugs me. I really do believe that there should be like a very stiff, like you should be charged and given, and if found guilty, given a very stiff fine or sentence, like jail time. If you place, because here's the deal, women have a hard enough time when the claim is real, just at every level of society, like trying to, get the claim and charge it and everything else. When somebody, like, okay, I get it. He didn't treat you like the princess that apparently you thought you are. But when, and you want to fuck with them, well done. But here's the problem. When it comes out as bogus, now you just given every asshole and every dick that, that wants to, like, roll their eyes and blow it off and go, women in it. You just gave them a prime example and fuel for the fire. And I think, honestly, if you're ever going to take somebody and rake them over the social media coals and, hold them up for criminal prosecution, women who make fake claims about rape or sexual assault, it's like you got to take one or two and make them do like some time in jail or fine the fuck out of them to set an example of like, this is so not a joke. And there's better ways to fuck with a dude than to like do that, because and also unless he really did something extremely heinous, if he, especially now in the court of public opinion, even if you're innocent, like just being accused could devastate your life. Because there's some people out there. If I said Kavanaugh, once kicked a cat when he was in 10th grade, even if there's hard proof, like actual proof that he never even petted a cat, let alone kicked one, there's gonna be people out there going, well, I'm not gonna buy anything, or you shouldn't have him on your, on your show as a guest because he's a cat kicker, and his life should be burned to the ground, and he should live in a hovel, and not and not even in good dirt. He should live in a hole in the ground in bad dirt. And so it does bug me when women make false claims and they just kind of get away with it.
Yeah.
But kind of me, like I said, because even with Kimberly, who is Dude's wife, it's kind of like everyone's saying they just bullshit, but WWE still made the move, which I think they wanted to get rid of him anyway.
Well, they fired him because Kimberly posted a picture of him doing like a Hitler pose in the Nazi.
And that what got him fired.
That's what got him fired.
Yeah.
And he was a teenager at the time. I'm like,
but here's the thing. A couple of years ago, one of Seth Rollins' girlfriends, had artwork with the swastika on it, and and here's the deal, people. Nazis are interesting from a warning standpoint. You learn about them in history so they don't ever happen again. But also, they're no way cool, and they're no way exotic. So like any kind of thing, and just don't joke. But I remember this dumb bitch had art, and there's different forms of Fox intellectuality where people want to pretend they're intellectuals, and she tried to use the argument of like, well, it's a Sanskrit symbol before it was a swastika, and I'm allowed to have whatever I want in my will. And I was like, look, okay, bitch, can I call you bitch? Let me enlighten you on something. I want you to come over here, and I'm gonna open up a book, the thing you claim to read. It doesn't matter what it was before. This is what it is. So any symbol, we all know that it was a Sanskrit symbol. We all know that it was turned around and then made into a symbol because of whatever reasons Hitler had. But now this is what it is. Okay, so don't fuck it, have it on your wall, especially when you're young and have a possible career and a lot of shit to lose. And you're not being edgy, you're not being intellectual, and you're not being cool. You're just being an asshole. It's like with the rebel flag being Southern. The rebel flag, if people are now, it really does mean different things to different people. But here's the problem: the rebel flag. If you take a step back and look at it, it's a very beautiful flag. It's a very nice looking flag. The problem is you have to take a step back, clear your mind, and then look at it to realize how pretty it is, because it has a history, and it represents something. When you look at it, it brings an image and a visual to your brain, and that is the problem. And you had 200 years to turn that around and make that something else. And guess what? You didn't do it, so you don't get to have it anymore. So if you're going to have it hanging from your truck or on your wall or whatever, people are automatically going to assume racist, because that's what, and it sucks because it, again, very pretty flag.
What's funny? The perfect example of that was the new Dukes of Hazzards movie that came out a couple years ago, when they were in the middle of traffic and they were wondering why everyone's getting mad at us until and then the camera showed the top with the flag.
And it's weird. It's just one of those things that, like, look, it's just certain things get changed. I'm not gonna lie. The American flag, I would hope to one day to own a home. And I know some people hang the American flag over, in front of their house. I never will, because when I look at the American flag, I think Republican, I think right wing, I think of all these jerk offs that constantly, I think about all my friends of various colors and sexualities and everything. And it gives me a negative. I don't think of land of the free and home of the brave. I think of fucking people like Clarence Thomas and Trump and like the people on January 6th. And it's like, unfortunately, that's also now gone. Like there's a period of time you have to maybe reclaim that symbol. And if you're not going to make a hardcore effort, you lose it. And that's what it is. The swastika is what it is. The rebel flag is what it is. You don't get to have it. And if you want to have it, you take the consequences. And that's it. And people, these young kids, like you and I, everybody, I don't know how old Gerald is, but you and I, we grew up in the era where
he's a baby.
we grew up in the era where the disposable camera was a breakthrough in technology, and so and we also grew up in a different era, in a different time, so certain things don't rub us the wrong way. And, and we get, that kind of, this is the deal, and blah, blah, blah. But all these kids, you grew up online. You grew up having a camera and a video and having an online presence and so on and so forth. How do you guys fucking up this bad? This is your time. You should be so savvy and and everything. It's like, and how the court of public opinion just swings on a slight breeze. Like, I'm always amazed when young people say or do dumb shit. And it's like, you realize that that's a mistake that Kavanaugh or I should make. But you guys, like, you're 21. You should be like a vet at this shit by now. I mean, if I wasn't in porn, and all my social media is all about my career, I'm thinking about opening up a TikTok. It's going to be because of Billy. Like, the real me does not have any interest in social media. And social media for me is about getting my name, and I'm not going to lie. If I hit a level of popularity tomorrow where I didn't need it, fuck it. All that shit would just disappear. And I would go anonymous and just have one for like one basic account for like my friends, and that's it. But I just amazed with these the kids nowadays that they don't think before they put all this shit out there. And it's like, I don't know.
It was 2007. I was like a geeky little kid in the barber shop, listening to them talk about how everything you're doing that's out there, it can never go away. No matter if you delete it or not, like what you do is out there, they're gonna find it if they look for it. I mean, that was like 20 years ago.
Because think about it, they was finding shit that, like, with some stuff they were bringing up on some people, they were finding that shit, like even with Kevin Hart. That shit was a decade ago when at the time when he said something about, it was just he just called his homeboy. Fact, it was just a joke amongst boys. They were just doing it online. And they found that shit a decade later after he done already apologized for it. So it's kind of like, it's like once in the cloud, it's out there. So anyone thinks that after a while that Twitter delete your old tweets. No, them tweets are still up because I still be getting.
It's still out there. It's not.
Yeah, because I still be getting retweets from shit that I tweeted 2 years ago. I'm like, what the fuck?
What do you call it? Whenever I work with somebody new that's thinking about getting into the industry, or they approach me, like females, I'll still answer the question. I don't answer the question with guys anymore because I have a very boring answer, and then they all have the wrong response, which tells me I don't think you're going to make it, kid. But the girls, I'll still entertain the answer, like the question of how do I get in, and I warn them, like, look, you need to think. First of all, this is not an easy job. This is a very unique job. It's a hustle and a grind. Like I said, the girls at Exxxotica are stars and professionals, and just in life, like the way they're able to, just present themselves and maintain that look after hours of just constant interaction. Like, these women are badasses. They are alphas. And even if you do a scene, like I talked to somebody recently and she's like, I was just kind of want a bucket list. I'm like, I'm happy to do it. I'll even let you wear a mask because it'll be just you and me in the room. And I've done that before, but just know, even with the mask, it is out there forever. Yeah. So like, even though the odds of somebody finding it are very slim, but you're working with somebody that is trying to become like a guy, like I'm trying to be like one of the dudes that his phone is always ringing. So by nature, it might get found. If you do one scene, like a girl I knew, she worked with me under a mask, and then she went and worked for Score. And it's like, okay, well, you realize, and I tried to warn her, I'm like, okay, they're not going to let you wear the mask, and it's Score. It's like, one of the oldest and best companies out there, period. And, it's going to, and again, you should only get a couple scenes for him, but it's like, that's out there forever. And all it takes is one dude to like, there's a lot of girls that they did one scene and I saw it, and it's always one of my go back tos when I'm taking care of business. And, there's like, one and done or whatever, but it's like, it's still out there. It's still findable. And if you are really determined to find the scene, you can find it. It's like social media, it's a thing.
Yeah, I done found scenes that I thought I lost thanks to social media and motherfuckers bootlegging. Shit, I done found a couple of them. I'm like, oh, damn, I missed that one. I need that.
And the thing with the Briscoes, which they've atoned and they've apologized and they have addressed the issue and they've never shied away from it when asked about it, and it's never happened again. So it's that thing of, I understand if somebody is gonna continually have, like, if somebody accuses you of stealing and then you get fired and then the stealing continues, then, or you go like the next 10 years of your working career, you've never been accused again, odds are you're probably falsely accused. Whereas if you keep getting accused, like Roethlisberger, total rapist, and I've read in books and everything, like, this dude was a predator, and it's like, okay, if you keep getting accused, especially the worse it is, and you keep getting accused, well, then you did it. You just haven't been properly caught yet. And it's like these guys have proven that they have evolved. They've been around the world. They've been in this business, and it's just one of those things.
And it seemed like they're wrestling around the AEW. That was so funny about the shit, because like they was on they're on NWA, they're on Impact, they're on GCW. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, and I know Tony wants them in AEW because he know what they can bring his tag team division. So trust me, I don't think that he let them get away from Ring of Honor too easily.
No, it's, but and also they have that intangible, like that level of over that Punk and Danielson have and FTR have, where they can go anywhere and they just have the goodwill of the fans. Like, Danielson is so beloved that people actually booed him properly when he was being the heel. Like, that is a level of respect. That is a level of respect from fans, regardless of who's on what team and blah, blah, blah. Like, he was it was like watching Rembrandt paint and people were booing him. And I was like, that is about as high, other than basically offering to pay for the rest of his life and like just send him a check every month. That's the highest form of respect, because nobody gets booed properly for being a heel anymore, and Danielson did it. I kind of miss it. I kind of like what he's doing with the Black Blackpool Fight Club, but I kind of miss him on his own, being like an antagonizing heel.
Yeah. So like I said, it seems like that slowly but surely the Ring of Honor roster is being put together, which I understand why they have it on TV, they having the matches and the feuds on TV, because right now Ring of Honor don't have anything yet. But I'm pretty sure it is coming at some point. I'm pretty sure, knowing Mr. Tony Khan, he is on some trajectory to get them on TV, if not on some streaming service. Go ahead, Gerald.
And it's funny. I think aside from the women, right? Jade and who's the other AEW champion?
Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa, yeah.
Thunder Rosa. Aside from those two, right? I think every champion from AEW, including the Ring of Honor ones, right, are like a Ring of Honor guy. Am I wrong?
Actually, when you think about it, from a Ring of Honor.
Well, all the people are like, you mean, well, I like basically everybody that, I mean, with the exception of Joe, everybody's an AEW person, that's why I gave me a kind of a bad feeling in the very beginning, because it's like, look, you gotta, if you're gonna have Ring of Honor and you're gonna at least do what you're doing now, where you have them intermingling, you gotta give Ring of Honor guys, especially ones that are going to the brand, you got to give them wins. You can't pull an Acclaimed on them because they have to get wins. You already put all the belts on AEW people, but you need to, I'm trying to think of a Ring of Honor person.
But aside from Lucha, what do they call Lucha Express? What do you call the guy?
You talking about the Lucha Bros?
No.
Or you about Jurassic Express?
Jungle Boy, Jurassic Express. Aside from that tag team and Jade and Thunder Rosa, right? Every champion at AEW is a Ring of Honor guy. Samoa Joseph.
I'm sorry. I see what you mean. Yes. Yes. I'm sorry. Okay, I misunderstood what you meant. Back when Adam Page was actually like tolerable, he was a Ring of Honor guy, and before he became the Rhinestone Cowboy, he riding the town in his Prius, he was a Ring of Honor guy. Joe,
he's one of the OGs of Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Well, he basically made that company more than anybody. I mean, he was like their third champion, but he was a champion for like almost 2 years. He was kind of, and ironically, looking back, when he lost the belt, it was such a big deal because at that time nobody was doing the long title reign. And so it's funny who they had him lose to, because he turned out to be such a dud. But at the moment, it was a big pop. I mean, they kind of were the only ones at the time doing long title reigns in that era, because everybody got to be champion in the early 2000s.
Because even when you look at WWE, their top stars, majority of them was Ring of Honor guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was the place where you knew you could get a paycheck and get exposed. It was Ring of Honor, and then for a while it was Ring of Honor and PWG. So if you were in one of those two companies, eventually you were going to wind up in WWE. As a matter of fact, it got to the point where if you won the Battle of Los Angeles tournament, that basically meant you were going to win the title and maybe be around for another year, but you were also on the super fast track to being signed by NXT. There was a little bit of period of time a few years back where, because PWG's always had long title reigns, it was like, I think it was like one moment it was Chuck Taylor was champion for like 2 minutes, and then
the Ring of Honor champion.
Huh?
Oh, God. The Ring of Honor champion?
No, he was PWG champion. Basically he was their Stan Stasiak for like 5 minutes. And then Keith Lee won it, and then Walter won it. There was like a bunch of short title reigns because they all got scooped up by WWE. And then I forget who, I kind of lost track during the pandemic of like the title lineage. But there was a period of time where they were kind of reliving the territory days in like 1983, where they just could not keep anybody. Like, they were making stars, they were bringing attention, like Zack Ryder and fucking Grimes and everything. They were bringing names to people, but they couldn't keep them because they run once a month, and then WWE is like, hey, the lowest pay you could possibly make is like $80,000 a year. That's just base pay. That's not counting anything else you might make. So it's like, it's hard to turn that down, you know. And back then they were actually using people. Like, you would actually get signed to NXT and you would actually get used and become a bigger star, as opposed to now where I would only sign with WWE if I was still young enough and I wanted to buy a house. It's like, all right, I could give up 5 years of my life, and you know, if I make it and just save my money and buy a house, you know, they're gonna probably have me wearing a diaper and probably make me, you know, turn out that I'm like Sable's love baby from the future. But fuck it, you know, I'll be able to send my kid to college and buy a house.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. So now, some other news I want to get to before we get to the review. Tessa Blanchard then pissed off another wrestling promotion. That girl ain't gonna never make it better.
What she did?
Apparently, you know, her last chance was supposed to be rehabilitation for her with WOW, Women of Wrestling. And they had to shut down the promo class as she dragged some young girl called Americana. I guess for her promo, it was very nasty and mean. And they've been saying what a lot of girls have been saying for the longest, improving what a lot of girls have been saying, that she's a complete bitch. And right now, it's kind of like, and mind you, they supposed to been taping for the season because they already got the syndicated show set up. So they supposed to be taping, and I think she supposed to be a major part of what they were doing because she was one of their biggest stars. So once again, Tessa, I don't know what it is about Tessa, but she just cannot get along with no goddamn. She is truly her daughter's. She is truly her daughter's father. Excuse me. She is truly her father's daughter. Because I remember they said the same thing a lot about with Telly back in the day. That Telly, you know, had his issues in the locker room outside the Horseman. Yeah. So it's kind of funny how she kind of took on after her dad.
Well, Tully, we talked about it on the last show that Ollie was the quintessential heel, and right behind him, in that he could never be a babyface, no matter how hard he tried. And yeah, the rumors are rampant about Tully. Tully was a great wrestler. He's one of my favorite from the 80s, and it was a perfect heel, but a lot of that was he kind of was that temperament. And unfortunately, now, especially wrestling, is not as close a society as it was. You can't do that shit. You know, Tully's downfall was when wrestling went corporate because he drew money. So people were willing to put up with him because he drew money. And then when wrestling went corporate and you had an idiot like Hurd, it just, you know, that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, so she's right now possibly the only place she probably gonna be able to go is to Mexico because they'll tolerate her ass. You know, period. Which would be interesting because I'm pretty sure they'll throw in a feud with her and Tanya Valkyrie. But her coming back to any of these promotions, whether it's Ring of Honor, I don't see it happening because she done fucked up and pissed off too many people.
There's, you know, the thing is, basically, yeah, her attitude sucks, but I mean, I've seen wrestlers do way worse and get brought back. Yeah. She just needs to, if she, like, sake of argument, if she goes to AAA or if she winds up in, like, Stardom or something, you need to have a year or two where you need to pull up some amazing matches, rethink your gimmick, and just cut the shit. And then I could see Ring of Honor or, you know, maybe even the WWE or somebody. Like, you really kind of just need to have, you know, and it might take a few extra years because, like, Jeff Hardy's gotten away. I'm amazed people still book him just from his history, but he's a nice guy and people genuinely like him. So, like, he was likable and nice before all this happened. So, you know, it's like you kind of have no goodwill to work on. So you have to actually work harder just to show everybody you changed.
Yeah.
You know.
And she's going to have to do that because I don't think anybody even want to deal with, not even WWE. So I know it's going to take a while for her to even get to that. So now we done got through all of that because I ain't worried about AEW but so much.
You're not? Oh, man.
No, we need fuck it. We can touch on AEW.
No, I mean that. I was just saying, oh yeah, I forgot. It's right. I've heard your show before. You guys really don't kind of drag AEW and rightfully so. But what's it called? I actually have what's it called? I'm actually going to
actually, I won't go drag AEW this week. Well, he drags it more than I do, but I really liked. No, go ahead. Speak what you about speaking, then I'll say what I got to say. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm not without getting too much into AEW. This past week, I actually got tickets to the UBS Arena show coming on Wednesday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know a guy.
I know a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy that didn't get me in the building.
No, well, I know a guy that works there. His brother does the tickets. He could just like those sneaking a few. I'm saying he asked me like how much I need, like 2, 3, 4, like just 2, I guess, just 2.
So I wish I had that damn hookup.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm gonna do on Wednesday. I'm gonna go with my girl, saying I'm gonna go watch some wrestling. Mm-hmm. And then but you was gonna say Kavanaugh.
Nah, I was gonna say, but since you want to bring up AEW, damn shame that Adam Page gave me the promo that I've been waiting for this motherfucker to give me since he done started there, and he gonna be losing his belt soon.
You think it's a heel turn, or what do you think?
Oh, for sure. Because let's be honest, who's gonna cheer him over CM Punk? And two, it kind of, to me, I always felt this. Adam Page is a better heel than face. When he was the Hangman, the heel Hangman, it was golden, especially when he was in Ring of Honor and with Bullet Club. When they turned him face, made him the Rhinestone Cowboy, put him with the Dark Order, which one of them has been let go, Stu Grayson, released. And which I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some more to come. But to me, I like this Adam Page. You get what I'm saying? And I like the promo that he gave, period. And it probably was smart to make him the heel in this, because no matter how much of a babyface you're gonna try to make him, he's not going to get over as a babyface in this match.
You think Punk is taking to win the belt?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, the reason why he's going to win the belt is because, one, Page had the belt long enough. You feel me? He's not Kenny Omega. I love Page, but he's not Kenny Omega. Okay? 2, ain't no way in hell you're going to have CM Punk, who has a 3-year contract, who just said he's ready for the title. Now, mind you, you didn't put it on Daniel Bryan, which is understandable because you used Daniel Bryan to build Page. I don't see that happening with Punk. Because Punk will bring so much eyes to the title, and on top of that, you got the Forbidden Door coming in. Right behind Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
So okay. It would be a bigger draw if your main event, which has the AEW title surrounding it, CM Punk versus whomever versus Adam Page. That's the reason why Adam Page is going to give up that belt.
And they dropped the ball so hard. They dropped the ball so hard on Adam Page that, and honestly, the only people that can possibly get cheered over Punk is, I think, in my mind, like Omega and Danielson. But it's just not working. And honestly, if you want to, and once Page loses the belt, get rid of the cowboy shit. Like, just stop, because it's not working. He looks ridiculous. He sounds ridiculous. That weird boo-boo face that he has. Like, he always looks like he's about to cry. Like, you ever get into a physical confrontation with a guy, and you have the advantage. Like, the guy's already losing ground, and he doesn't want to back down though, and he has that weird, like he's trying to stop himself from crying. Like that's what he looks like, and it's gotten to the point where, like, dude, I don't want to fucking see you on my TV. And they need to take the belt off him, because another month or 2 of this, there is no redeeming for me. It's like, look, I don't care if he's able to rehabilitate himself. I don't want to see him anymore. Like, all I'm ever going to see is the Rhinestone Cowboy. You gave him, I don't know whose idea was it to go lean into this much of the cowboy shit, but it was not a good idea. He did not pull it off. And I'm not knocking him on that regard, but you didn't give him anything to work with. And you didn't give any, like, and that's the other thing. When Punk wins, Give him a feud. AEW has developed this bad habit of like the first opponent for a new champion is somebody that's been off TV, and then randomly attacks him, and yet somehow now I'm the world. It's like, no, and it's blatant that you've been doing it with almost every new title holder, and it's like you need to have viable contenders that have been on TV step up, and also rematches. If I lose something to either one of you, we're having a fucking rematch, at least one. You need to give people the rematch, and then a new opponent steps up. And it's just common sense more than it is a wrestling thing. But it's like you need to make this guy like this is the reason why he's our top guy, and that's the deal. And they fucked him dry on his title reign. They took care of every other champion, and they just were like, "Hey, we're gonna do you dry with a running start. So just cut your teeth and hold your breath." Pop goes to Weasel, motherfucker. It's like, here we go.
So yeah, and what else happened on AEW this week? Of course, the Blackpool, they won another match. They really building them up. I'm just curious to see who they're gonna have them feud with, whether it's gonna be a 6-man tag or individual matches. Of course, they're keeping the Jay Lethal versus building up, I guess, Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe. Yeah, which I'm kind of crazy how they just basically skipped over the fact that he supposed to be beefing with John Grissom, because we haven't seen Grissom in a minute. But yeah. I know Grissom was injured. Yeah, I knew he was injured. Go ahead.
I think he's there, right? AEW, right?
Yeah, he signed. He's definitely signed. I think what he was injured because he didn't show because he couldn't go to England to defend the Progress title.
I vaguely recall him seeing him on Dark.
Yeah, I know they have him on Dark, but kind of crazy that now the feud then turned to the television title, not the world title. So I don't know if it's because of Grissom's injury or they signed him late. But I would have thought that they would have at some point. But then again, also Grissom has been injured. I know he had an injury and he couldn't go over to England.
I didn't know he was injured, but the thing is, he's been a work machine. So, and like you said, they signed him late, so he might have to. He seems like the kind of guy that is, if he tells you he's going to be there on the 17th of June, he's going to be there. So he might be clearing up because he was everywhere. He wrestled in my living room the other day. Drew a great crowd. But he's probably filling out all his dates and everything. And he's like me. He's like, okay, I'm happy to be Ring of Honor's back, and I'm happy to be part of AEW, but I can't just wrestle once a week. I need that's like if you sign me to a contract, I'll take less money per scene if you use me more in a month because I can't be left home alone. I'll go nuts. So he's like a workhorse, which is what you want. So it might be injury on top of the fact that he has stuff that he has to fulfill. But one thing that did jump out, you reminded me of that again, maybe it's the sign that hopefully a change is coming. But the little thing with Orange Cassidy and the Giant, like his buddies are getting the shit knocked out of them, and he's just kind of standing there. And it's like, okay, dude, I get the gimmick, but your buddies are supposedly being beaten to death by a literal genetic giant. And then he jumps off the apron and it does like a stupid little pose. And it was like, okay, dude, look, I know people like you. And it's not even about me, but the thing is hit a wall. You need to evolve the gimmick. I'm not saying get rid of it, but it's either turn him heel or you got to evolve because I was like, why are you standing there? Like, fuckhead, your buddies are being disemboweled by like all these heels. And you're just kind of like, I get it. You're cool. And you wear the Canadian tuxedo, but like, come on. I'm not going to lie. I love Kavanaugh to death, and we're slowly approaching the level where I would help him move a body or take a bullet for him. But if I'm in a bar fight and I get my ass whooped and he's just standing there going, wow, he's really taking an ass whooping. It's like, there's going to be another ass whooping on the ride home when I'm smacking the shit out of you, motherfucker. Like, where were you?
Because one, he's not ever going to win the title in AEW. Not right now. Because if they were going to do, they would have been put one on him. They ain't even got him in the title feud. And two, sometimes a person turning heel does wonders for their character. I would like to see Orange Cassidy as a heel. Me personally.
Really?
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy's a heel?
As a heel. Because it's...
Okay.
Bobby?
Yeah. No, the reason why, because it's kind of like, even though his character is well liked, to me, if they turn him to a heel, one, it would change his dynamic anyway, because he might change his characteristics a little bit. Because, like I said, I like which I never had an issue with him putting his hand in his pockets, whatever. I know he's a great wrestler. But my only issue with him is when it's a feud. Like when he had the feud with Jericho and he had the match, and everybody think he was going to put his hand in his pockets. No, he took the glasses off and went straight to Jericho's ass. That's what I like. They're not changing it up enough for me, because at some point the man got to have a sense of urgency. See, for example, you seeing your boys getting handed to them, their asses handed to them. At some point, time to break out of Orange Cassidy. Can we get that sense of urgency?
Yes,
and
exactly.
I think that the fans are getting tired of that, because, like I said, the problem with his gimmick, the same thing that why Stu Grayson got released. Pretty sure Evil Uno is right behind him, unless Evil Uno is doing a lot of shit behind the scenes. Because I'm thinking that Uno is transitioned to be an agent, in my opinion. By the way, because they got
it wouldn't be a bad move. It's a thing of there were holes in the gimmick from the beginning, and if you're going to be on TV, and again, it's a lot easier for us to sit in our homes and do a podcast and like pontificate on this stuff. When it's not like the old days where you did squash matches and then you basically sold like, hey, you got to come to the arena for the big stuff. These guys are on TV every week, so it is hard to stay fresh and evolve. You got to constantly be thinking of something. But from the beginning, this gimmick had holes, and it's like, okay, dude, even though it doesn't matter, fuck me, I don't like the gimmick. It doesn't matter what I like. You're making money, but the gimmick has holes, and he has not done anything to evolve it. So now it's really starting to show, and it's hit a wall to where it was the most noticeable thing. To where even if I didn't even know the show and I didn't know who he was and I just turned it on, I'd be like, why is he like, what is he doing? Is he their friend? Whose side is he on? What's going on? And everything. And it's like, you need to evolve in some way. And again, he knows better than anybody. So you create the character, evolve it, however,
because the point being is we going into year 3?
Yeah.
And even with Cody, he evolves a little bit. Even Kenny evolved. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? The Young Bucks evolved. Scorpion Sky evolved. You feel where I'm coming from? So it's kind of like the only, even Paige. So the only one that had that with other stars that haven't somewhat changed slightly has been Orange Cassidy, and it is growing still. I can hear it from the fans. They're not putting him in any top feuds. What are they gonna do? Have him go against Jay Lethal at this point in time, or him go against that Giant? No. So to me, I smell he may not be there next year.
I don't think he's gonna change. I think Tony Khan loves him the way he is.
Well, the problem is, I mean, it's Tony's money, it's Tony's company. Yeah. He could do whatever, but the fans are eventually going to turn on him because, again, it doesn't fit. Because again, the character doesn't fit unless you're going to have him in a conflict directly with somebody. I know he's been injured, so he hasn't been able to do anything. But it's like the gimmick of the too cool for the room guy doesn't really lend itself to a lot of stuff, and there's nothing to play off of.
And really don't lend itself to a face, but so much.
I mean,
because to me, hold on. Because to me, it's like this: the way that he does is heelish shit. If this was back in the territory, Jared would have made him a heel. He would never made him a face. He was like, "No, the fans, you're gonna get too much heat as a heel than you would a face because of what you're doing."
And something just dawned on me. If he turns out to be a fucking amazing promo, like a level of Ole Anderson or like a Dusty Rhodes or whatever, if he turns out to be this amazing talker, because he is a good worker, I'm going to be pissed. I'm like, motherfucker, I had to sit and watch you
for
even
3
in
years,
your little weird sweatpant jean things, and you could have been giving me these promos the entire time. It's like, I'm going to actually buy a ticket. I'm gonna come there and I'm gonna like shake you. I'm gonna shake a bitch. It just like motherfucker. But as far as his wrestling ability, there's nothing. I mean, he's competent, but from what I've seen, it's like, oh, you're literally like every other wrestler. There's nothing really exceptional about you other than you're good and you wouldn't hurt anybody. There's no uniqueness like a AJ Styles or a Daniel Bryan. There was nothing like, wow. It's like, oh, you work like every fucking young, 170-pound indie guy. Not saying it's bad, just saying that's your, so the gimmick is, you're all gimmick, but the gimmick is hit a wall. And yeah, it needs to change. You just reminded me of it. It really stood out to me because I was like, it's like, dude, for your sake, do something, please.
Well, I gotta tell you guys the truth right now. I hate Orange Cassidy, so I kind of don't really care as long as he's like not there anymore.
I've always hated the gimmick, but I mean,
no, I hate him.
Oh, you hate him?
The gimmick.
Oh,
and the gimmick. I hate that guy.
Oh, have you met him?
Nope, I just hate him.
Okay. Hey, I've hated a lot of people, so I can't really give you shit on that.
I really can't actually.
It's funny you say that, Gerald, because there was somebody. We were kind of floating in the same circles at Exxxotica, and me and this male performer don't follow each other, and we've never really. I didn't go out of my way to introduce myself, and I don't know if he knows about me at all. I don't really care, but. There was some very juicy gossip that went around about this particular man, and and it's like, oh wow, okay, and I was like, oh okay, but there was something about him. I didn't wish ill will, and I didn't, begrudge him his success, but you just sometimes get the vibe of like, I don't think we would like each other, or I don't think even if we met, I don't even think like I met a bunch of male talents last month, like Artemis and Dallas Strokes, and we instantly hit it off. And I'm like, you know what? I like these guys. We may not always work together because we're all doing our own thing, but I would hang with these guys at the bar, or I would be like, I don't want to do shoot houses anymore. But if they were there, I'm like, I'll swing by on a day, mainly to say hello to everybody and hang out with Dallas because I really like Dallas, and they're like, oh, I'll swing by, and if anybody wants to shoot with me while I'm talking to Dallas. But it was just this guy. It was like, yeah, I totally get the fact that, just hate him. I just looked at this dude and like something about him. And then when I really realized the way he does his content, because I never watched it in full, I was like, well, that's a bunch of bullshit. Why the fuck does he have all these followers and everything? He's like, like really, that's actually what he does.
What's crazy to me, I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, even though with Shakar, because he was the Fire Ant in Shakar, I would have stuck with that gimmick than to do with Orange Cassidy, because to me it was a better wrestler. That's how I knew how good of a wrestler he was, because Fire Ant was the best one out of the Ant Army. Fire Ant gave it to me every time I used to watch Shakar, so I know his ability. Period. It's kind of like with Danhausen. Even though Danhausen do some silly shit, Danhausen can go.
Oh yeah,
I'm saying Danhausen.
But all his stuff makes sense within the gimmick.
Yeah.
And I think if Orange applied a little Danhausen logic, and again, now my brain's starting the wheels are turning. He would be an amazing heel if he can do the promo, and again, and then like be this talking heel and kind of be, really just be a shitty hipster heel. And then after a couple of years, you do the what's old is new, and then you go back to being the cool fan favorite Orange Cassidy. It's like the thing could have legs, and again, anything's possible. I used to despise Roman, and now it's like, I think WWE should give him like a percentage of ownership of the company because he's the only one that like is really just almost perfect on everything he's doing. So, it could change. My opinion could change. I've been wrong before, and and I'll be wrong again. I bought a summer home there, but just right now, it's like, dude. At least he's quiet. At least he's only like per one segment. Like I've noticed the George Goulas gang has slowly gone away. Thankfully. Yeah. They were like 30% of the show. Like they were popping up Actually, no. The little guy with the bald head that makes the over exaggerated faces.
You talking about
John Silver?
John Silver.
Yeah, he's wrestling
one of my
Punk or
favorites.
something next week.
Yeah.
Or it's like, okay, why?
He's from right here in Long Island.
Yeah. Okay,
guys.
You know,
But see, I ain't even gonna front. Out of all the ones that's in that clique, he has the most potential to me.
Yeah, but you gotta get him away from the gimmick, and you gotta let him kind of develop his own thing.
Yeah, stop being weird. He might have something.
Yeah, because to me, out of all the ones that was in there, other than Stu Grayson, John Silver to me had the most potential to be a breakout star. Because if he became serious, he gives me that Mondo vibe. You know what I'm talking about? If anyone knows wrestling, OVW, Mondo from the Spirit Squad, he was better than Dolph Ziggler. To me, Dolph Ziggler's good, but Mondo was a better wrestler. Mondo was a better promo. I've seen Mondo when he wrestled. I've seen when he was the OVW, when he was the OVW by himself. That was some of the best OVW matches in a title reign that you had at OVW. He reminds me of that because he got the potential to give you a fiery promo. He got a great look, and for his size, like that of Gresham, I could see him break down a big giant because he got the look that he could do it. But just get his ass away from the damn Dark Order.
And again, as a short guy, there's certain things you kind of have to do. Like I don't care about my height, but I am aware. Like, if you're a short guy, especially in this culture, you have to kind of do certain things. Otherwise, you're just bringing misery on yourself. And Grisham, I never knew until very, very recently that he was 5'4", because just from the pictures and how he looked on camera and just the way he performed and carried himself, it never occurred to me. Whereas him, I almost deem him like, I kind of think he's like, I imagine him being 4'11" or 4'8". And he's like this little overexcited midget that never had sugar before, and he's just like running to the ring, and I'm gonna get you, and it's like, like you said, if he was like a kind of an ass kicking vicious heel, I could see that, but it's like you're so goofy and always doing the stupid flexing thing. It's like you're almost shrinking in front of me, and I honestly, when I think of the match, I'm thinking of Punk squaring off a guy who's like nipple high.
Yeah.
And I know that's not the case, but it's like, I kind of imagine, I know he's not that short, but it's like.
But I'm going to ask you this. Would you rather have John Silver or what's the other little motherfucker that was there with them that he ain't there no more? He was the third in Jurassic Park, the mascot. I can't think his damn name.
I'd rather have him. Marco Stunt. Marco Stunt.
What I'm saying.
No, he didn't look like a wrestler, and he, like, in every sense of the word. But also,
I said Rey Mysterio. I said Rey Mysterio was never that small.
No, not. And again, this is not about the size. Rey Mysterio knew how to wrestle, and he could do different things. Marco Stunt basically knew how to leap in the air and bounce off of people because I remember watching one match. I was like, okay, if these guys weren't catching you and then helping you springboard to the next guy that you're going to bounce off of, and the other guy in perfect position to catch you after you springboard off the second guy, none of you, like, that's all he does. He's like a pinball, and a lot of that pinball shit comes from guys willing to help him get the shit off. Yeah. There's nothing about him, and I'm sorry. You could obviously be a wrestler, but, just because, like, okay, all inclusive means you get to be different and get a shot. Now, you get a shot, but just because you're getting a shot doesn't mean you get to be in the main event and so on. I have goals for myself, and I'm pushing towards that thing, but I may never get there because I may not, whatever reason, be the right, thing. I may not have the right skill set, or may not have the right look, or whatever for the things that I want. It's about getting the shot. You're like, okay, you're a wrestler, but dude, he just was so unremarkable, and apparently he's a little bit of a shit in real life. So I'm not surprised that
him and his brother.
He didn't bring anything to the table. Like, Jurassic Express is an okay gimmick that has a shelf life, but he didn't bring anything to that. He didn't have a promo. Like, if he was like a little bit of a talker and be like a Weasley little heel manager, then he might have some legs.
Yeah.
But again, it's I mean, yeah, I was not impressed, and he's nothing like Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio had solid fundamentals and could go, and all his stuff made sense. And when he wrestled a bigger guy, he sold the right way. And when he took somebody off their feet, it was for he did it. It took like effort to get the guy off his feet and everything. Yeah. Marco just bounced off of people.
Another thing, whether it's now or when I was a kid, right? If anybody like my mom or like one of my friends or like whoever came in and saw me watching Rey Mysterio, I wouldn't be embarrassed.
Yeah. And Ray looked like a man. Like Ray looked like a guy, and
like they would see him and think that guy is cool. Wow, he's fast. He's cool. If they saw me watching Marco Stunt doing whatever Marco Stunt does, like I'd be embarrassed.
Yeah, but because even with me when I first saw Rey Mysterio, because I didn't see him in ECW, I saw him when he came to WCW. How can I put this? I didn't feel like because of his size, it hurt him. When I see Marco Stunt, it's like, why the fuck you got this little dude in the ring? When I see John Silver, I don't get that. I get, damn boy, that little motherfucker hurt somebody. You get where I'm coming from? Yeah. Just like with Ivan Putski. Ivan Putski, though his power, he was short as shit. But because his physique, his power, you didn't see the size.
And there is something to be said for looking the part. Ray always looked like a wrestler. John Silver looks like a wrestler. And that's one of the things, again, when I used to entertain the question, it'd be like, well, also, it's a good thing in the industry now because you can be a different body type and you can have a different look, but you still have to look the part. You still have to groom. You might want to be in some kind of shape because cardio and those hot lights and everything, like you got to be able to go. You look the part. It sounds ridiculous, but I tan now. At first time in like my life in my 40s, I actually, after I work out, I go and lay out to tan. So I'm not as Caspery on camera. It's because I want to look better on camera. And I don't want to be orange. So call me weird. I don't want to be orange, but it's a thing. You got to look the part. And like Mick Foley never had $1 million body, but he looked like a wrestler. Yeah. Ian News even looked like a wrestler. Marco Stunt looked like a doughy kid. Actually, this is a true story. When AEW first really got on the air, my lady walked in the room and gave me like a weird side eye, and I'm like, "What?" And basically, he was in the ring doing his little shtick, and she actually thought for a second that it was like a girl. She's like, "Why is this girl doing like in the ring with no shirt on? Like, what the fuck?" And I was like, "Oh no, that's
no shirt on."
Because it was like it happened in the span of like seconds. Like she was like giving me the weird. She looked at TV and it was giving me a weird look, and I'm like, "What? And like had to do that thing. Like what?" And he's like, "What's with the girl?" I'm like, "What girl?" I'm like, "Oh, that's Marco Stunt and whatever." And I was like, "Dude, again,
not only a girl, a little girl."
Yeah, exactly. And it's like. Like it's gotta look the part, and he didn't. And again, these guys, like what works on the indies or your little cool hipster wrestling room, promotion is not gonna work on national TV.
No, it's not. So I'm trying to think what else happened on AEW this week other than that shit. The Ring of Honor women's title, the unification of it. To me, I liked the match. It was a good probably one of the best women matches they had in a minute, other than Deep and Rosa. But the funny part is kind of like I was listening to a couple of other podcasters that were talking about it. The crowd was not hot for it, which I wasn't surprised because they really didn't set up the match. They didn't build it really. We didn't get a video package explaining, Darren Peraza or Mercedes Martinez, their lineage. The fact that Darren Peraza was at one point could have had had the Impact title as well as the AAA title and the Ring of Honor title. Period. Putting over the Ring of Honor women's division. I think the biggest mistake AEW makes is that they automatically assume everybody knows.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and Yeah, you gotta, especially now with all these little indie promotions going. Like, there's some out there that if you're a wrestler, you're gonna work for them because they're one of the safer, better companies to work for, but they're not known yet, or they're not as prevalent as like you said, Circle Six or whatever. I'm like, I've never heard of fucking Circle Six. Yeah. So, and that's the thing. Again, AEW has holes in their game, but they're easily fixed. You need to, like, I actually, and my experiment, my experiment continues. I subscribe to the AEW channel, and the one YouTube, like on the TV that I watch a lot of wrestling during the show, because I always have wrestling on in the background. There's when I turn on YouTube, I watch one like 5-minute clip of Florida wrestling, and then all of a sudden they recommend all the Florida shit that's ever existed ever.
Yeah,
I'm subscribing to the channel, and no AEW shit pops up. So like even with YouTube, your shows are getting no traction. So it doesn't matter what's happening there. The three of us could have the greatest three-way match ever in history, and it would fall on deaf eyes and ears because no one knows. And it's just, they need to tighten up the show. Like, they need to trim the fat, and Tony's getting it, to his credit. Like, again, like a lot of these guys weren't meant, or they're not willing to make the change to be on mainstream wrestling, but you got to like slowly, and you got to take care of the talent that has legs. Like I said, the Acclaimed. It'd be nice to see them fucking win, like something, like a thumb wrestling contest at this point, like something, because these guys could be your Midnight Express. And
Billy, what are you talking about, man? They win all the time on Dark.
But that's the point. Who the fuck sees this shit?
I know.
And you want to know something? When I jerk off, I have some amazing cum shots, but they don't count because they're not on camera. It's like, it's a thing of I got to see these guys because they could be your modern day Midnight Express. Because, and again, there's one of those things where I first looked at them, I'm like, okay, what the fuck? And then they won me over. And now it's like, maybe I should hate them again, and then they'll win.
Well, by the way, speaking of the Acclaim, what was that all about with them and the Gun Club? I watched it. I don't know what that was about. They brought them scissors.
I don't know. They just kind of, whenever they need to give somebody a win, they bring out the Acclaim. That's why I kind of get happy when I see them, and then I get sad. Because they're not going to win. There was an incomprehensible segment last time, right? Like the Gun Club came out and they gave the Acclaim presents, right? And they opened the
okay. What they're trying to do is, I get what you're saying. They're trying to build a feud for Dark and Elevation between them, I guess, to a certain extent, because they do try to do storylines or further storylines on these shows.
Well, there's the thing. Like, if you're gonna build a feud between these two, then don't put it on shows that people are gonna, even your hardcore fans are gonna miss. I want to see that. Take away the George Jules gang, take away some of Orange Cassidy's time, and get rid of the Best Friends. Give me that feud, reorganize the show. Like, I never thought.
But you're wrong about
that Club, and I want to see that now.
But Cam, you're wrong about that, because I watched Dark, right, and it's just matches. They don't really progress the storyline or anything like that.
I mean, they try to put, they try to put promos in there, what have you. But it's really more so just to give motherfuckers a win. Put it this way. If you're going to bring, okay, hypothetically speaking, if you're going to bring the Acclaim and you say they're ranked number 1 as a tag team, but we ain't seen the Acclaim in a month on Dynamite, you don't make no mention of who they beat or show highlights of what happened on Dark. So that when the fans who is watching Dynamite and Rampage won't be asking this question, well, damn, I've never seen the Acclaim win, so how the fuck did they get a title shot? Which in turn makes people think WWE.
They started doing a crawler like at the bottom of the screen about dark results.
But I never noticed it. That's how prominent it is.
But the problem with that, even with that, right? Nobody's really paying attention to it, and also, like, it goes like 500 miles per second. So yeah, it doesn't really help the match.
And I get it's Tony's baby, and he's again spreading himself too thin. You got Regal there, and all he's doing is managerial stuff. Like, you can hand off the reins to certain things, like Rampage across the board, whether they're AEW fans or not. are saying Rampage is kind of just a waste of a show. It's like you can and it's only an hour. You can make that show super tight and packed, and you can use that show as a conduit to push more storylines with like one or two really good matches, and then like backstage segments and like.
I'm gonna tell you what's funny. Actually, I got the perfect example of what we're talking about or what they should do. Time to go old school, ladies and gentlemen. I had the pleasure of running into watching Memphis wrestling, and this is the time when we had the feud between Dutch Mantell and Gerald the King Lawler. Now, this is what I love about old school. They will remind you what the fuck happened at the house show. This is what I mean about what the fuck they need to do. They don't sit there and put a ticker down there. No, Gerald the King Lawler was like, yeah, he was like, Lance was like, so yeah, something happened at the house between you and Whipcar. He was like, yeah, the first family attacked me, and and Dutch Mantell left me in the ring, right? So he was like, yeah, it's supposed to be a tape. He was like, yeah, I know, I brought it to you to show it. And this is what Jerry is saying to Lance Russell. So they showed the tape. The match breaks down. He gets the win over Dutch, but then the Nightmare family comes out and beat the shit out of him, and Dutch walks off, which set up Dutch coming out, and they having the confrontation of, why did you leave me in the ring? And Dutch basically said it. Look, why the fuck I'm going to help you for? That's your issue. I can't help you pissed off everybody in this goddamn building. It ain't my problem. And then they got in each other's face, and then, of course, Jerry the King Lawler slapped the shit out of him to cause the brawl. The famous Memphis brawls they have right around. But the point being is, if they did that logic that AEW did, how you think it would have went over with Memphis? They would have looked at them like they were stupid. The fans would have booed. They were like, okay, can we see what exactly happened? Because the way they would have done it if it was day and age was, it would have been Jerry came out, said, oh, he left me all by myself, this. Dutch Mantell left me in the middle of the ring. Dutch Mantell comes out, and people are going to be confused, but like, all right, can we see the recap or see what exactly happened? That's what I mean. If you're not giving us the actual action, whether it's you just showing us the highlights or what have you, even if they coming out to come meet the Young Bucks, like, yeah, the Acclaim came off a very, very great win on Dark Elevation against the Colt Club. Then they show you the highlights of their match against the Colt, against the Gun Club, which in turn sets up, oh, now I see why they're going against the Young Bucks, because they done beat these people, because you're showing it to them, you just ain't telling them.
Well, to your point, we talked about it on the last show. Ole Anderson set up a 2-year program off of one phrase from a Dusty promo from years earlier that it'll never be over, Daddy.
It'll never be over, Ole.
Like a 2-year setup for a 2-year setup for like a 3 months of like sold out houses across the territory. Again, and the fans, look, again, there's different camps and so on and so forth, but the fans are not dumb. You can organize this stuff and give it a read. It's all hodgepodge and it's rushed. Like, if you give them a tangible storyline, they'll sink their teeth. You just got to make the effort. It's like writing a short story is a lot harder than people think. You got to have an idea in your head, and then you got to map it out. That's why writers talk about, like, they just write. They're not really sure what's going to happen. They just let the characters evolve on their own. And you got to let, you start out with an idea, give it to the wrestlers, and you kind of throw in your little 2 cents and let it evolve, and let the fans listen to the fans and like how they react. And just, again, they would sink their teeth into a long promo. You just have to make the effort to make it worth biting into. That's all. And every company, by the way, and
one other thing, Billy,
do this.
Wouldn't it went over the same if they didn't show the footage of the turn? That's the kicker. That was sealed. He explained it. Then you saw the footage. Now imagine if this was AEW. If this was AEW today, guess what we wouldn't have saw? We wouldn't have saw the footage of the turn, especially if the turn took place on Elevation. We would have never saw it. We'd have heard about it.
Yeah, like Ole in that famous Georgia Championship Wrestling episode, he did a TED Talk where he walked everybody through the last 2 years. And then they showed the old school promo Dusty. I forget. I don't know what year that promo happened, but that's like, okay. And here's the promo that started it all. And he walked everybody through. And here's the best part: there was no no confrontation, no fighting. Like they got commentary from every wrestler, and then they got a interview from Dusty, and it was all just people talking, and everybody, like Ivan Koloff was like, because he had no idea through the whole 2 years. He's like, I'm glad to have my friend back. And I was, and he's so smart.
I am glad to have Arn Anderson back. We are so happy to have Arn Anderson back. We cannot stand Dusty Rhodes.
It is weird. It is weird. I got to go do the theater, community theater rendition of Flash Gordon, where I play Ming, cape on. I'm supposed to be a bad Russian, but apparently I just came from watching Flash Gordon, so I'm going to steal the gimmick. And he's furthering the story. And then they interviewed Dusty, and Dusty was like, look, I'm to blame. I'm the dumbass that asked him to be my partner. And it all made sense. And I'm not lying. I could watch that clip, and I put it on the Twitter feed, and I'll probably do it 1,000 more times. I could watch it over and over and over again because it was so smart and just it all fit together. And they could do that now with modern storylines, and guys could be genuine heels. It just takes commitment. And again, it is hard to maintain a narrative and let it evolve and stay on top of it. That's why wrestlers are some of the most talented people on the planet. They can multitask and they can do everything in real time. And, you got to just give these guys, let them work the muscles to do that. And
most definitely. So now we didn't got out of AWA. Let's get to what everybody wanted to hear. WrestleMania
rematch.
I swear to God. Okay. Now, I have to admit, pleasantly surprised. Actually liked the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I actually liked the pay-per-view.
It was a great show in the back.
Yeah,
if you don't
match
think about it
good.
too much, it was a great show.
Yeah, and the endings made sense, except for the main event. I kind of like the way that they ended, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So, one, I like the fact that we didn't have any matches in the pre-show. Thank you. And this bad boy was 2 hours, maybe 2-3 hours. I was like, damn, they didn't drag us out on this one. So I like that with it. And each of the matches was pretty good. They didn't have no bullshit matches on here that no one didn't give a fuck about. They had the matches that pretty much people kind of wanted to see to a certain extent, minus Omar's.
You don't think that Happy Corbin and the other guy was a bullshit match? Wasn't a bullshit match?
Because it was a major storyline. Not really. And two, I think
storyline.
I think too, they're trying to push not Happy Corbin, but to push Mars to another level. So I think that's why they went ahead and did the feud on this on Backlash. But could they have left it on SmackDown? Yeah. Would I wanted to see maybe the Intercontinental title being defended? But then again, they really had no build up for any of that anyway. So Billy, what you think of the pay-per-view before we get into it?
I have to admit, I started it and then I'm kind of watching it in real time because, again, the last couple of days, I went out last night to do something and it turned out to be a massive waste of time. And then I just didn't have the time today until, so I'm kind of watching it. It's definitely better with the sound off. But the Rhodes Seth match was good, which, with those guys. But again, the thing with, I think we discussed it. I knew that Rhea Ripley was going to go with Edge because it was just so there. And hopefully now they'll start giving her wins and they kind of stop squandering her. But the thing with Moss, you got to give him actual ring gear because I don't give a fuck if this dude is Lou Thesz by way of Hulk Hogan. The dude's in fucking loafers and suspenders. It's like
with some shorts.
Like
you know what? Like if Chippendales had a short bus, that's what you look like. Like if they had a Special Olympics where everybody went to like the club afterwards, and it's like, you know, like that's where, like that's who would come out on stage. And I'm sorry, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know why you put him in that shit in the first place. But if you're gonna push him, one, get him away from Corbin, and two, like give him actual ring gear.
Yeah, it's time to change it.
It's. And I'm sorry, that's the other thing too. He better really have some magic up his sleeve, because it's gonna take a long time to not see, even when he changes his gear.
Yeah, not to see him as madcap and a part of the Baron Corbin mid-card vortex.
And here's the other thing: if you're gonna call somebody Mad Dog or Bull, like Wild Bull, or whatever, Madcap, and so on and so forth, they actually have to be wild or mad or whatever. Like, you can't have a guy come out and go, I really disagree with the way you handled the end of that match. It's like, if he's Madcap, then you might want to make him a little crazy. And
I would think it would be.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's they buried that guy right from the get with, But I will say, obviously a trooper and dedicated to what he's dedicated to the dream, because I'm not gonna lie, I might have said, go fuck yourself if you brought me loafers, board shorts, and suspenders, and then we're going to call you like Beanie McGee, and you're going to go out there and, you're going to just be all kinds of just do everything a guy who wears a beanie would do, and like, okay, yeah, you could go fuck yourself. I'm going to go back to, working a part-time job and working at high school gyms on like a Saturday afternoon.
Most definitely. Okay. So, let's begin with the first match, which of course we already mentioned, Cody versus Seth Rollins. And I'll start with my take. To me, the match of the goddamn night. I like the storyline. And let me explain to you why I say the match of the night. The match from beginning to end made fucking sense and told the story. And it seems that when you give me a Cody Rhodes match, I get that. I don't get that in WWE too often. I might get a little bit more AEW, might even get a little bit more in New Japan. But you don't really get that match telling the story type situation in WWE no more. To the point that I always said this when it came to point, the little things on set makes the scene better. Whether it's if a guy riding your dick, you part the butt cheek so you can see the dick going in the pussy. It makes the scene better. In this situation, for example, you can see that the whole story coming in was, I did not know I was wrestling you. You had the advantage. What happened if the advantage is taken away? And we saw at the beginning of the match that Seth was on his game. He was basically countering everything that Cody was doing and was frustrating Cody. I liked that. You know what I'm saying? Them trying to do the pedigree on each other. So it was just like, to me, and it was a back and forth, because it wasn't he just got the best out of Rhodes. No, it was a back and forth match. I like back and forth matches. I don't like it where it's just one sided, where the heel just dominates the face unless it makes sense. You feel me? But next.
All right. I think
Cody is one of those guys. Certain creative people work better with parameters, or like, okay, you have to stay in these lines today. Like an example. I just totally spaced. He had a TV show on MTV in the late 90s, early 2000s that was really popular, and he did the movie Freddy Got Fingered. I'm blanking on, of course, stupid that I brought him up because I just blanked on his name, but he was funny on his little show because he had to stay within a realm. And then once he kind of was given free reign, it's not funny. Rhodes can wrestle and he could talk, and he is about as close to the total package as you can get. But in AEW, he had to, left to his own devices. Whereas WWE, they're gonna be like, no, come here. You're only wrestling. You're not gonna start a fucking makeup company with your wife. You're not gonna all of a sudden start, marketing shoes or hosting a game show, whatever. Like, come here, stay, sit, like go wrestle, go talk, So I think he's one of those guys that could really be an asset to any company as long as you got to kind of like, give him some Adderall and bumper car him. Like, okay, Cody, I need you to stay over here. Know your wife cannot come out on camera. Like, come over here, do this, and it's working. And hopefully, like I said, the WWE can just leave well enough alone. So we're gonna see what comes up. But I've been liking the matches I've seen him do, and I've been hearing good reviews. And it's like, well, again, he doesn't get to do whatever he wants because he's not one of the bosses now.
I like it. Gerald, your thoughts?
I mean, you guys pretty much said everything I was gonna say. Really, good match. The WrestleMania match was slightly better, in my opinion. To me, the finish.
Ooh, interesting. Cause a lot of people say that this match was better, but go ahead, expound.
It was slightly better. I guess because of the grandeur, and also because the finish here at Backlash felt kind of short, kind of flat. That to my approximation. I'm just one guy. I'm saying, felt kind of flat, and also I was watching this match, so like this is the first time I saw when I came home because I came immediately after. I came home immediately after from the movies with my daughter and her mother, and stuff like that. And then I missed the pre-show, and then the first thing was on was the intros for this match, and then so I watched that match. So I came in home immediately watching that, right? And it felt to me like the match was like halfway through, and then just abruptly ended. That's how it felt to me. So this match was great. And match at night. I'm just saying WrestleMania match was slightly better. That's all I'm gonna say about that, really. Question, because before I came on with you guys, right? I just finished recording with my boy Russ from the Manspace podcast. Shout out to him. And we was talking about how is it believable? Let's say have to, because I don't know. I'm not psychic. I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. But the word at the drinking fountain seems to be that Cody Rhodes is gonna be the contender for this title, right? And we were talking about whether or not he's like believable as a contender or like the next world champion who's gonna beat Roman Reigns.
No, actually,
is he believable?
I can believe it. Yeah. The reason why I'm saying this is because two school of thoughts on this. All right, we didn't see Cody as a champ. Cody has the promo. It's like, put it this way. Because I'm old school. If Cody came up in the territory days, would they try to throw the belt on him? Yes. Because he fits it. He looks it. He fits the title. He got the suit, the whole nine. So, and he got cachet. He got a big name, period. To me, other than Randy Orton or Drew McIntyre, he's the next guy I can see putting the belt on. That's right now in WWE. Because one, he'll fit it, he'll look it. Two, he's going to always give great matches in promo. And he can give us that babyface, heelish tactic type attitude. You feel where I'm coming from? Like, for example, I like the ending. I like the fact that he pulled the tights. Only because Seth did it. You get what I'm coming from? So it kind of gave you that he is willing to do whatever it takes to become champ. You feel me? And I can see him as champ. I can see him putting the belt on him. And actuality, when they made mention about Money in the Bank, how they're going to do Money in the Bank this year, yes, I can see him winning the Money in the Bank. Because, one, that would surefire give him a title run. Because very rare they're going to have the Money in the Bank dude lose. Unless they just really gave up on him. Two, Vince want to put the belt on him to stick it to Tony Khan. Because trust me, because that's one of the reasons why Cody signed the contract. I want to challenge for the world title. I want to be world champion. I want to do what my dad was not able to do.
So why did he cut that promo in AEW to mom never going to wrestle a belt again?
No, this is my thought process. He was in a situation where damn if you do, damn if you don't. If he had went ahead and challenged for the belt and won it, guess what we would have been saying? Oh, he used his position to hold the belt and get the company. when he took himself out of a title race, we was like, that was stupid. But if he didn't, it went ahead and became the first champion, because I'm pretty sure that where Tony Khan was headed. He was going to put the belt on Cody. He was going to put the belt on Cody. I truly believe walking into AEW, Cody was going to be champ, and at some point, Kenny Omega was either going to take it off of him or what have you. What ended up happening was Cody took himself out of the picture because he was like, I don't want to be the VP and to become a champ, and then people think that I'm using my position to keep the belt. Hence, the Sheik. Hence, Vern Gagne. Because Vern Gagne ran his company and was champ damn near for the majority of it. You get what I'm saying? So he didn't want to be classified in that. That's why he did that stupid move.
I think Cody has all the tools to be a world champion because he left when they didn't want to promote him, and he drew money and he reinvented himself, and he had a pretty consistent run in the 6 years that he was gone. It wasn't until he was given absolute control that he kind of lost the narrative. So he has all the abilities, he has the look, he reestablished himself and everything. And right now, again, you've built Roman up to such an extent that if you want to disrupt the title reign, he's the guy to do it, because Roman can only be beat by a guy who you can't just have anybody beat him, because then he would just ruin everything. And even Vince in his like complete senility can't be that dumb, you know. So Rhodes, if he wins Money in the Bank or if he wins another couple big matches, he will be the guy. And then now you have a feud that'll carry you possibly to WrestleMania, because that Rock match is not going to happen. And even if it does, you're going to keep him champion all the way through. What's the outcome? Because you can't have The Rock win, because The Rock ain't coming back. And if he beats The Rock, well, now what? What's his next main event going to be? Against a gun? Like,
because by the time he gets to The Rock, he done beat everybody in the WWE. Yeah. There's nobody left.
And then his main event match for WrestleMania Backlash will be like, now he's going to wrestle a fucking Magnum, 57 Magnum, because that's apparently the only thing that's going to take him down. So it makes sense to have, at some point in the next couple of months, have Cody beat him, let Cody have a little bit of a run, and keep the feud interesting. And then if you played right, there's your main event for WrestleMania. It's just, again, can people do that in this day and age? Like WWE kind of, it is by the whims of Vince, and now it's become famous that they're and this is a major show and supposedly the number one promotion in the world, where they're writing the show 5 minutes before it's about to go on. Like, that never should be a thing. Whether like Saturday Night Live doesn't do that shit. It's like you need, like, they just kind of like, whatever Vince, like, everybody has to wear green and everybody is possessed by the Easter Bunny. It's like whatever fucking weird shit, like my sandwich picked a fight with me this morning. Goddamn, pal. It's like, it's just, as if they can maybe keep Vince on a trajectory, or keep him busy with shiny objects, then, I think it could be a feud where you can maybe even trade the belt a couple times, because there's an art in that. There is an art to having a feud where the belt changes a bunch of times, and Mid-Atlantic was good at that, where, like, for 1 year or over a year and a half, Ric Flair and Wahoo McDaniel owned the Mid-Atlantic title. Like, they traded it back and forth, and it worked. So there's an art to doing that, and you can do it. But I think Cody and Reigns, if done properly, can carry you right into next year's WrestleMania, because this year is zipping by. It's like, it's May. I mean,
because here's the thought I was thinking. When the last time we had a true title feud? You get what I'm coming from? Where the titles going back and forth between these two champions, like what you were talking about with, with Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair in Mid-Atlantic, where you had it, even with for the longest between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Period. It's kind of like Reigns don't have no rival. The last true rival he had is not in the division no more, which is not even in the company no more, which was Braun Strowman. That was the closest rival he had.
And the thing with the WWE, when they beat you, they there used to be two different ways of like losing a feud. There was a feud where you had some kind of salvageability, and then you kind of went back down to the mid card or whatever, and then you started a new feud, and it was ebbs and flows. And then there was a feud where you would just get decimated, and then next thing you know, you would pop up on somebody else's TV in like a month or two, like looking like, oh, it's completely brand new. When WWE beats you, they beat you like you're going to the next company, but then you show up next week on the same show, and it's like, why people? That's now you see they never beat people like that in the old days because what the fuck are we gonna do with you now? And the WWE really needs to stop doing that. They made Roman too invincible, like to the point where you got guys like Bobby Lashley, like McIntyre, just like I can't see them as champion right now. It's like, how the fuck do you live in a world where you look at Drew McIntyre and go, I can't see him as my champion? Like, you fucking kidding me? And they beat guys and they can't maintain the narrative, and that's one thing they need to fix. And again, being WWE, this shouldn't be an issue. Like, that should be the one thing they have because that's the thing, when you see them occasionally make an effort, like they're what they are with Edge and what they're doing with Roman, it's like, oh, when they want to make an effort, it actually can be good. And like the rest of the show is like, fuck it.
So now, since we're done with that first match, the next match, of course, was Omos versus Lashley, which me personally, I knew that Omos was going to take this loss because if you're trying to build up your giant, you can't have him lose twice. To me, this was the second worst match of the night, with Happy and your boy being number one on the list.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, because Omos, like put it this way, Omos is so green, he's Green Acres, yo. And I do not understand.
Guys, you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't hear Kavanaugh.
Hold on.
Kavanaugh? I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
And they're great with building giants, but the problem with Omos is that you can't have a good. Bobby tried his damnedest to have a good match with this dude, but I don't see what they see in Omos other than him being big.
I'm sorry. I just
fine.
What'd you say?
Good.
Sorry, this joke just hit me, and I have to say it before I forget it. You keep calling him Green Acres. I'm like, if he got a stable, you could call him Gang Green. Waka waka waka. Sorry, it's just I couldn't resist.
Well, go ahead, Jerry. What you about to say?
I was just I didn't think it was particularly bad. It wasn't really good either, but like it was just there. It wasn't really to me like almost seems to be improving. And when I say improving, I mean like he was at like what, a 1 out of 100 to like what, 25 now. So I thought this match was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. It served its purpose. Like, it wasn't gonna be like match of the year or like a classic, something like that. Like it was fine. I can imagine I can imagine going to Wikipedia and finding almost on Wikipedia professional wrestler moveset, various kicks and punches. I thought the match was okay, really, to be honest. I gave it 2 stars and thumbs and pointing up because it shows improvements. He's better than he has been.
In this day and age, when because everybody's always making the comments that the wrestlers are smaller or whatever, blah blah blah. I never really bought into that. You have to be giant to be a wrestler. But with the way the work rate and just the skill level and the athleticism, being a giant, quote unquote, is not just because you're tall doesn't make you a giant. If that makes sense, you need to protect these guys. And you're the WWE. You can work out deals with different companies overseas and independent things, and let this guy go and learn and do some with the Japanese method. Give him some excursions to actually properly work like a giant because you can't do all the shit an AJ or Edge or a Finn Balor can do. So it's more important. You need somebody that can pull off Ernie Ladd.
It's like this. To give you an example of what I mean.
But sorry, what?
I use Gunther. Gunther works like a giant.
Yeah.
Gunther is heavy-handed as hell. You feel me? The punch that Omar was giving, I don't think would have hurt me. And you could just tell it wasn't. Even when Andre hit a motherfucker, you felt it. Even though he didn't hurt dude, you thought he did. I didn't feel it no time that the punches or the blows that he was giving Bobby was hurting Bobby. It didn't make it believable to me. You feel what I'm coming from? Yeah. Compared to when, I'm trying to think of a giant right now, W. Morrissey. Shits look good. His shit look good. His big man stick looks good. You feel what I'm saying? Moose. I could just to give you another big man. Moose, his shit looks good, period. It seems like the giants that WWE get, they don't know how to be giant. They don't giant.
Well, that's the thing. You're hired because you're tall, and then go out there and they teach you basically the bare minimum. And again, there's a science. The reason why Ray got over, and it's more than the mask. Like, he knew how to work, and he worked differently when he worked with Psychosis, and then he would work a completely different way when he would work with Randy Orton or Kevin Nash. And he knew when to do what and for what reason. And with the Giants, there was a way to work as a giant. And like I said, Ernie Ladd was the total package, and in my opinion, the best giant. But Andre, even when he was immobile, still knew he was passable. Like when I watched him in his last years of his career, it never dawned on me that this dude can't really move anymore, and he looks like shit. Yeah. And even now, his stuff, like, he knows how to do things, and he was able to do like a few things, but he did them so well and at the right times for the right reasons. And it's not the Singh, the guy from AEW, and it's not almost his fault. Is that you're offering these guys money, they show up, and they're doing your job. They got hired to be tall, and they're tall. Yeah. It's your job. You have access. You can bring wrestlers in to especially train him to work like a big man, and you're not, and basically they're gonna eventually let the guy go and be like, well, and like, no, not his fault. It's your fault. Your job it's your job to teach this fucking guy. Because last week he was working at Home Depot and you hired him because he's tall. Now you have to make him a giant, and there's a science to it, and you are not doing it. And and that's the thing. It's like it's the days of like, ooh, he's so big, and I give a shit why. I just had Balor and AJ tear down the house, and this guy's gonna come out with his 2 left feet and his rickety knees and his like nose that's bleeding because he's like so high up there. And I give a fuck why, because like, why, and that's the thing. They still think that works, and it's not the wrestler's fault. It's WWE and also AEW, like that guy Singh. It's like, okay. And
he's just tall.
He's tall. And he moves like molasses in a blizzard. So it's like, there's a science, and it's one of those things. It's lazy. The guys are being lazy because you're not taking care of these guys to make them presentable on TV. You're rushing to get them out there because that's one mythology in wrestling that'll never change. Oh, he's huge, so therefore he has to be good and he'll draw money. And it's like, all right. Remember the Yeti? The Yeti was tall. I drew more money in wrestling than the Yeti. And, that guy didn't know how to fucking work for shit. And, looked like a doofus when he came out. And, again, not his fault. No one took him aside and go, look, do this for this reason now. And then wait at the end of the match and don't go down unless they hit you like 6 times in the right places. Yeah. And again, easier said than done. We're all sitting here talking about it, but you guys are in the industry. You know the tricks to teach this kid, and you're not.
Yeah. So, Gerald, your thoughts?
That's nothing else to say really. I mean, I mean, again, like to me, this I again, it wasn't good by any stretch of the imagination, but it was just it wasn't bad either. It was just there, and it was really fine. And hey, to me, this is reassuring in a way because it shows improvement. I think he's again, I'm just one guy. Who cares what I think? But I think he's improving. And he has MVP by his side, so let's see what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, I think the smart move was to put MVP by his side so that he'll have a mouthpiece.
Maybe he could be Roman Reigns' next challenger.
I mean, if they build him up right, but you got okay. The one thing I can say about Braun Strowman, we can see as a threat because the way that they built him. Yeah. For me to sit here and see. For you to put Omos against
Braun was a dangerous motherfucker. Like far, almost dangerous. Yeah.
Bingo. That means that Omos should be the most dangerous motherfucker in WWE. Like one of my favorite builds was the Hall of Pain with Mark Henry.
Yes.
You couldn't help but to think he was going to become champ because he was decimating everybody, including the Undertaker, including the Big Show. You feel me? So with Omos, he didn't dominate nor destroy Bobby Lashley. You supposed to have him destroy Bobby Lashley. If you wanted to build up Omos, go back. They should have went back to what they did for the Hall of Pain.
As far as Bobby Lashley,
and brought that back. Go ahead.
No, never mind. I just second guessed myself. Never mind. I was gonna say that you shouldn't destroy Bobby Lashley, but then again, if you want to get almost over, you should destroy.
Yeah, because the whole point is he's a giant. You should never let your giant look vulnerable, unless it's towards the end. If, for example, if Lashley won the first one, he should have won because he outsmarted Omos, which in turn preached to why Omos needs MVP. This second match, Omos should have been decimating this dude from the beginning to the end. It shouldn't even been no back and forth. Bobby Lashley shouldn't even got that much offense towards the end. Then when he think he got the match won, the referee back his turn, that's when MVP hits him with the stick and Omos chokeslam him. At the time, he was dominating Omos for majority of the match.
I remember your Mania review of the same match. Had me laughing too. Bobby Lashley was picking him up, throwing him around. All this.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley just picked this dude up and did a fucking spine buster. This is a dude that is 7'3". He not even supposed to pick him up.
300+ pounds.
Yeah. Think about it. It took Hogan to literally damn near knock Andre the Giant out to set up the pickup.
Yeah.
You feel me? Any other time during the match, he couldn't pick him up till that time when he finally got the slam. So right now, just off the strength of that Bobby Lashley feud, I cannot buy Omos as a guy that would beat Roman Reigns. I can't. Not by the way. Roman Reigns just beat the shit out of Lashley. You 3 times the size of Lashley, and you barely beat Lashley. How am I supposed to believe you're going to beat Roman?
When he beat Lashley?
Huh? No, I'm talking about Roman.
You say beat Lashley. When he beat Lashley?
Yeah, Roman. No, Roman has beaten Lashley before. You feel me? You get what I'm saying? For me to believe that, let's say if they did decide to make Omos the next challenger, for me to believe that this dude got a chance of beating Roman Reigns, you got to decimate the dude that Roman Reigns kind of had trouble with, who was Lashley, because any wrestling fan going to compare his match to when Lashley went against Roman. You feel me? There's no different if, let's say, Big E was at the time and it was Big E facing Omos. Big E went against Roman. That match was competitive. But then we see him be competitive against Omos, who is way bigger and stronger than that of a Roman Reigns. So I'm supposed to believe that Roman Reigns is in threat when he could barely beat Big E, who Roman Reigns barely beat himself. That's what I mean by the logic.
I'm gonna ask you a rhetorical question, but give me a non-rhetorical answer. Why Why do they have Almost on the roster?
They had Almost on the roster. Well, it obvious. They needed a big giant. This the way.
Correct. But
they wanted a big giant.
They had plenty of big guys, and they got rid of them. Why did they do that?
But see, the reason why, because Omos, they're making from scratch. A lot of the big guys, minus Braun Strowman. Because Braun Strowman was the only one that was of the big guys, one of the guys that came from NXT. You know, he was a product of NXT.
Braun Strowman had size. He had speed, believe it or not. He had mobility. Why did they get rid of him?
They got rid of.
I think it was a lot of his backstage personality and everything. Yeah. Apparently, the rumor was he'd be getting the push, it'd be on the fast track, and then he would do something to piss them off, and then it would stutter step, and then he would slowly gain momentum again, and then do something to piss somebody off, and then stutter step. He would, so I think it was more his personality than him, than him, like his ability and everything as a big man.
Yeah. So, I mean, think about it. Why do you think he went to control the narrative and nowhere else? Because no one else wanted to deal with his ass. Straight up. Because think about it. Out of all the guys that came out, you would have thought Impact, you would have thought AEW would have grabbed that big motherfucker. No, it's a reason why they didn't. Because, trust me, he probably had a lot of issues behind the scenes. The reason why they signed, and two, Omos he's green. They can mold him. He probably got a great personality backstage to where he's willing to learn. He ain't going to fight you on nothing. Period. That Vince can sit here and tell him, yo, I want you to go out there and wear a sombrero and dance around talking about gin and juice. He'll probably go do it. You feel what I'm saying? So it's that's the reason why Omos is being pushed, because he's that big. Two, he has the size that's believable that he can be a menacing. They just ain't booking him as menacing.
I'll give him credit for one thing, because I kind of went back and watched I'm watching the match now, because when we were talking about my trip to Exxxotica, when the match came on, and I kind of lost track. Everybody, since Danielson came back on TV, everybody and their grandmother is now doing the elbows, and everybody looks like shit except for Danielson, because he knows how to lay him in the right level without hurting somebody. And almost just did the same thing to Bobby Lashley, and his actually looked good. So I mean, again, you're learning on TV. He's learning on TV. He took the money, which anybody in their right mind would do. He probably wants to be good, but he's probably being. He's being put out there on national TV, learning on the job where he should be.
Because let's be real.
That's the cardinal rule in business. Always take the money.
Mm-hmm. Because even to me, this is how I look at it, right? First, you had him in the tag team with AJ Styles. Let's think about when they broke Braun Strowman away from the Wyatt family. They had him for 2 to 3 months squashing dudes. Squashing. Hello?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought I lost y'all. Squashing people. 2 at a time, 3 at a time. So finally, when he got to that big match, you kind of was like, oh man, this big motherfucker is something else. They didn't take the same path for Omos. You had him in the tag team. Okay. Then when you got him away from AJ, which I think, did he have a match with AJ at one point?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think they even had a match when they broke up. You feel me? That could have been your jumper point. He could have decimated AJ Styles and put AJ Styles out for a month. That would have set you up right there. Have him have a bunch of squash matches destroying people.
And the thing is, too, what I'm noticing is they're having him do too much. Like, there's a reason why certain things work for certain type of wrestlers. Like, you can give this guy certain things to do in the ring that would help him get over. And then in the house shows, let him work in the ring. Like, the Asiatic, the thumb, the spike that Lad used. Or even, you know what? He is big enough.
Oh,
he is big enough that he could do the heart punch and make it believable.
Yes.
So give him like the heart punch. Give him the Asiatic spike, and like when he gives somebody the heart punch, they don't move. And there's a way of doing it where you stretch the guy, like, you kind of extend his rib cage and put him in almost like an abdominal stretch, and then punch him and like really lay it in so it makes like a sound, or at least makes the chest like ripple. And then, hey, this dude does not move. Like if he does it to AJ lays there until they put him on a stretcher and they carry him out. And that's it. And you give this guy something, and then you let him work the house shows where he learns how to work. But that's the thing. There's a reason why if I did the thumb, if I did the Asiatic spike, if I did the heart punch, I'd look like a fucking idiot in the ring. You'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? But if he does it, it's believable. You know?
Because to me, it's certain move sets and finishes they should give a big man. And for him, I can see the heart punch. I can see the heart punch. I can see the claw. They could have went with the claw.
Yeah.
And with the claw slam. It's so many, because that choke slam he did at the end was so fucking weak. He barely picked up motherfucking Lashley. It wasn't even an emphatic choke slam. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of like with Mick Foley. They were like, okay, what moveset we can give you? Because you're so crazy, the manifold claw. It fit. You feel what I'm saying? With Omar's, I can see, ain't no one done the heart punch in a long time. Why you ain't give him that? Period. Okay, then, why don't you give him the claw? He got big enough heads, his hands could damn near cover the boy's face. So give him the claw. You feel what I'm saying? Or you could have just went the route of Zeus and do the neck break. Because that would make it, cause I like when Zeus was doing that to Hulk Hogan, because that was different. I'm like, damn, he's trying to break his fucking neck. And even they did a better job of building up Zeus than they have Omar's. Shout out.
I mean, but that back then, it was Vince and Pat Patterson and a notebook, and that's how they did it. And Vince knew everything, minus if an injury popped up, like from WrestleMania until like the end of the year, he knew what he was doing. And then by the time he got to the end of the year, he already knew, like he already had WrestleMania booked. Like then he started, like you said, it went corporate, and he, the whole, like what he wanted to do and be changed. I saw an interview with Kevin Nash. He said, how is the show better when two guys book the entire company? Now you have like an entire staff and the show sucks, so it's like when Vince was in his full capacity with Pat Patterson, which I think Pat was kind of the brains of that duo. You had, they literally had the whole year, like every year, they were a year ahead. And, but now it's like, again, they're writing the show as it's coming on, and that's just bad. That is bad business. Like, if you're going to do anything creative, you can't just like, we're going to start the cameras in 2 minutes of like, oh shit. All right. So let's think of a plot, and then all the lines, and then our cues, and then, and everything else in 2 minutes before we start rolling the cameras and make it perfect. It's like, people are only so talented, so it's just, I don't know. I think, the guy has a good look. He just, you're not doing him any favors by throwing him out, especially, and nothing against Lashley. Lashley is not that type of worker that can make anybody look good. You need to put him in there with somebody that has size, but can work around him and, kind of hide the negatives and accentuate the positives. And I don't know if they have somebody like that, but it's not Lashley. Lashley is a star, and he needs to be in the main event being a star. He's not Bret Hart. He's not Owen Hart. You're giving him an impossible task as well.
Yeah. So enough with Omos and his bigness. Let's go on to the next match, which was AJ Styles versus Edge. Very good match. I'm gonna let Gerald start off. Tell me your thoughts.
I gave this match the same rating I gave to what's their names, Cody and Seth, which I believe was 3 3/4 stars and a thumbs up. This was unlike Cody and Seth, right? This match was slightly better than the match at Mania, I feel.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I feel like it clicked more. AJ Styles with busted out moves he ain't doing a long time, like the Fosbury flop. so that was good. I think it's an AJ Styles thing because like I don't know because like it's like in theory, right? He has matches with people that in theory should be like instant classics, but like I don't know, something's not clicking every time. It was him and Jericho, him and Joe in WWE, him and Nakamura in WWE, him and Cena was actually great. Him and Orton in WWE. I don't know, something about AJ where like he's having double WWE my tongue there WWE style matches in WWE. And something doesn't click. Where it should be like an instant classic, but for some reason it's not. But this match wasn't a classic, but it was very, very good, very enjoyable. Better than the Mania match, which I thought was very slow and plodding. But this match was actually much better.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The ending, of course, was the talk of the night. I'm saying Rhea Ripley, of course, helping Edge win. And
were you surprised that was Rhea Ripley? Because I wasn't.
Me neither. And it doesn't help that the whole internet keeps talking about it. Oh, Rhea Ripley and Ciampa, they're the next members of the modern day Brood or whatever the fuck. I mean,
it didn't help that actually you could tell it was Rhea Ripley from the boots to the pants. Y'all could have had her in like some baggy ass sweatpants or some shit.
I thought it was gonna be like Ciampa or something like in the skies. No, it was Rhea. All right, that was a nice surprise. That was nice.
Yeah, I said, that's Rhea Ripley. I'm like, y'all not fooling anybody. Damn, y'all could have did a better job of fooling us at least.
No, I thought it was gonna be like Ciampa or something, like a guy. Like
no, I could tell it was a woman by the boots and just the way her mannerisms. I said, that's Rhea. I just knew it was Rhea.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
I was like legitimately like hyped to see who it was because like she came out and she pulled her mask off, but it wasn't facing the camera, right? So the crowd was oh my god! So who the fuck is it? Turn around. It's Rhea Ripley. So that was kind of cool. AJ got beat up by a girl. He lost because of that. But I don't even care because it was still good. It was still good.
To me, I think I see where they're heading with this. It's gonna be Ciampa probably will be joining soon enough because I see how WWE the trend now is for a 4 wrestler clique. 3 of them men, 1 being a woman. I'm starting to see that now. And if anything, this probably Rhea Ripley probably by the end of the year will be champ. She will be Raw champ. I see that belt coming now with her.
I want her to have a heel champion run.
I love you, Bianca, but that belt coming off of you, baby. Just enjoy it while it lasts right now. I love Bianca Belair, but no disrespect. That belt coming off of her.
I feel like Rhea and the other members of the faction need to like win championships because that would give them credibility as a unit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying because everything building up to it. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say otherwise. Then what's the point? That was it.
Yeah, because to me, I think I like the fact that AJ's still selling the hurt shoulder. He's been selling that the whole time this feud. That's one thing I can say about AJ. He can sell his ass off, bro. That motherfucker can sell his ass. He do Ricky Morton selling, okay? Let's keep it real. He does Ricky Morton selling because you don't see too many wrestlers sell an injury that they supposed to have for money. Even to the point he was trying to figure out different ways to be able to do that phenomenal forearm and everything. I liked it. Billy, you quiet over there. Talk to me.
Oh, no, I was just listening, not trying to overpower the show. You got 2 veterans that know what they're doing. I think finally, Ripley is long overdue for a push. I mean, talk about $1 million. They're kind of doing the House of Black better than the House of Black. And again, it's nice that, I would imagine this is probably Edge trying to rescue like a life raft, like rescue Damian Priest and Ripley from the god awful creative. Again, wrestling is all about the little things. Like I kind of switched to, I'm watching some old NWA and they, they were doing like a beat. Arn Anderson and JJ were doing a beatdown of Oli, and I just little things like, okay, they're beating somebody who's a bad tough motherfucker down. So like at one point, JJ grabs in like kind of holding him by the waist while Arn kind of get ready to scoop up for a suplex, and so JJ helped him get him up so he could do the gourd buster, and like little things like that. It's like, okay, you know what? Oli looks like dead weight, and he looks like somebody that you would really have to kick like a couple of times in the head just to get his attention. So it made like little things like that.
Yeah.
And Edge can give these guys a lot of knowledge, but also kind of protect them because he broke through that glass ceiling in the WWE. So he's collecting all the good wrestlers and saving them from bad creative, and they're gonna come out better. But as long as he's involved, he'll be able to protect them because Edge ain't gonna put up with bad shit. I mean, so it's all about the little things that that kind of make sense and have a reason for happening. And Edge is the one that could teach him that, and again, like protect them. So I'm glad that Damian and Ripley are with them in this little growing thing because they're too good. I mean, like I said, there's certain people in wrestling where it's like, how do you not draw money with this person? You just don't make them look like an idiot. And, when you beat them, make it count, make it for a reason. And they, again, just they can do whatever they want, like it's, and they got another show in another week, and they're not going to get canceled, and they just got to go, we could beat Rhea, the next, 50 shows. It won't make a difference because then on the 58th, hey, she's unbeatable and she's the greatest wrestler that ever existed because we say so. And that's, I mean, a lot of companies are guilty of that, but no one does it like the WWE.
Oh no. So since we didn't get that out for that match, because like I said, it was a good match. First of all, I do like the click. I do hope they do bring Ciampa on so we can have that 3-man. And like I said before, I'm pretty sure Rhea will probably be women's champ. The question is which single belt the Edge will probably get. Because I know that it ain't gonna be until they get it off of Roman, and it ain't gonna be him and Roman. So I'm just curious to see where they're gonna go with this click. I like it, and yeah, they are doing a better House of Black. The House of Black.
Maybe somewhere down the line, to type everybody in the feud, right? Because Ciampa has been attacking
Mustafa Ali.
And it's it's looking like he might be. Everybody keeps saying he might be the next person to join Edge's cult, right? What if, because he's feuding with the Miz and he's feuding with Austin Theory, who's the current United States. What if he somehow wins the belt from Austin Theory, right? And then maybe Edge could win off of him. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just thinking.
Well, I can't wait to see what happens for sure. So, all right, now the next match, of course. Oh God, dude, please don't. Okay, yes, okay.
We're ready to this match.
So what?
What's the next match?
The next match? No, it's not Madcap and Moss. We're just gonna skip over that after this one because I really don't want to talk about that match. It's the I Quit match.
All right, let me start real quick. This
Go ahead.
was the best match on the show of the night.
Yeah, this was my match number 2. I ain't gonna lie.
I gave this match 4 stars out of 5 and a thumbs up. Yeah, like a higher rated than Edge and AJ and a higher rated than Cody and Seth. So,
oh my goodness,
anybody disagree?
This match, I have to admit, was one of, without blood, was probably one of the most brutal matches I've seen female-wise. I like the fact they didn't use a goddamn table. Thank you. Because, man, I thought they were going to put out a table because I saw they put out trash. I saw they put out, chairs. I saw they put out the kendo sticks. And it was refreshing to see they weren't trying to use a table.
Because this wasn't every formulaic WWE match. This was like a legit. This was two girls walking to an MMA fighter and a professional wrestler walk into a bar, and what happens next? That's what happened right there. Like,
and it was physical. It was
from belt to belt. It was like a legit fight. No babyface shy. No heel heat. No comeback. It was just two girls fighting.
Yeah, and also got to give props to Charlotte Flair, because she was working with this physical ass match with a fucking injury already, walking in.
Injured?
Yeah. Yeah, wait, my bad. They played the injury. Part of the reason why she dropped the belt is because she's supposed to go on vacation, supposed to get married.
Yeah,
but of course they're gonna play it as an injury, which is smart. But to me, I like the fact that Ronda Rousey won. I don't understand why they didn't have her win at WrestleMania and come back and retain the title in this. But
because Vince hates being predictable. That's why.
Yeah. But dude, you very predictable. I don't understand what the hell you hating it for. You only surprise every once in a blue moon. But anyway, like I said, I like the ending. I like how she got the tap by using the chair, having the arm bar in the chair and everything. And which once I get all your thoughts on the matches, the next question is what the fuck are they gonna do now? But anyway, Billy, what's your thoughts on the match, buddy?
I mean, it was good, but I take away a couple of points just because they did use kendo sticks and what have you. I thought if anybody was going to use weapons, it should have been Charlotte because Ronda is such a badass. Mm-hmm. I'm just a favor of like the best I Quit match I ever was.
Billy, real quick, Charlotte introduced weapons first. She brought the candlesticks first, and then Charlotte, and then Ron took away from her, used against her. So I see
I kind of was, again, like while we're doing the show, I missed that she brought it out. But I mean, I think the best I Quit match ever was Funk and Flair, and they just flat out beat the fuck out of each other. I think you can I Quit match. I like the fact they used the microphone. And they did the thing where, it looked like she was yelling like in pain, like while in the hold. But, it should be like, think Blanchard and Magnum in the cage at Starrcade with the microphone. Think, Funk and Flair. It should be, like you said, like a fight, like no shine, no whatever, just like an actual really like lay it in, like make an agreement. Don't break the teeth, don't break the nose, and just go at it. And again, with the chair and everything, it just would have been nice. And I'm being very picky here, obviously. I'm being persnickety, but it would have been nice if you just would have let them went out there and like two women fuck each other up and just leave it at that. Sometimes, like I said, less is more sometimes. And I, would have liked to seen a little bit. I had to go back and rewatch the match with sound, but I mean, it was a good. I mean, they have good matches. It's just wondering now. Okay, she's gonna pretend to be injured, but then be all over social media, look like $1 million in a bikini with her boyfriend. So it's going to be interesting to see what they give Ronda. Because it does look like, I think she came back. She wants that she wants to be the woman Brock Lesnar.
That's what I was thinking.
So we'll see how she does being full-time again, or at least, full-time on TV.
Now, here's the question I asked both of y'all. Who's next up for?
That's why I asked just earlier today, like, what's next for Ronda?
Well, what's the story on Bayley? Because she should be coming back by now.
Bayley should be on her way back. Asuka's already dealing with Becky Lynch. I wouldn't, because your big dogs is on SmackDown. They're all in feuds because you got Naomi and Sasha. They dealing with the tag titles.
Yeah.
So, and then, like I said, of course, Bayley, but do you want to throw Bayley into this mix and she's just coming back? You feel, with no build up to it or anything of that nature? Me personally, if it was me booking it, I would have her and Becky Lynch, because that's the match everybody wanted to fucking see in the first place. They didn't want to see her and Charlotte. They wanted to see her and Becky.
What's funny about Bayley? I saw Bayley, because I work in Brooklyn, at the Crown Club. That's my second job. I work as a club host and stuff like that. And what's it called? She was there because every time the WWE comes to town, because it wasn't Survivor Series. It was like one of the weeks leading up to WrestleMania, right? And I think it was one of the weeks leading up to WrestleMania, and they were at the Barclays Center that week. And I thought that Bayley was gonna come on Friday, the following Friday, and make a surprise return, right? Because she was there, and I spoke to her, and like her arm was fine. She said, right? She came there with Aaliyah, the other girl, right? And they were on Snapchat, on Instagram, they always pictures, all that stuff, right? And she told me, right, that her arm was fine, stuff like that. So I thought she's coming back. So maybe Bayley's come back soon. Maybe she's gonna face Ronda next, because that's what I think. Because who else is there? Nobody else. Shasa's is too busy with the tag team division, even though it's just her and Naomi. And other than that, I can't even think of anybody else even worthy or like at Ronda's level that you could believe might beat Ronda.
Yeah, that would actually make sense because you can't say, because they ain't got nothing for Alexa Bliss and she's Raw unless you're gonna move her to SmackDown. So, like I said, I'm curious to where they're gonna go with her.
I think they might give her. They might like give her like the Brock Lesnar reign that he had in 2014, 2015, and like 2017.
Like she disappeared for a second, come back on the big matches.
Yeah, with their belts.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see what they do. So, like I said, we're gonna go past Mad Cop and Corbin. They should have made that. They should have made that the next match after Cody. They shouldn't even have this match on here, but that's just me. But like I said, I like that Mad Cop one, and okay. And I will say this. Corbin gonna get a huge push one day. Because I swear to God, boy, they treat him like purity shit on these shows.
You think so? I feel like
I mean, he like put it this way. He gets. It's kind of like it feels like he has main event level heelness, but they want to keep him in the mid card.
I feel like they since his debut on NXT up until now, right? I feel like they like had praise where they tried with him and then gave up, and then tried with him again and then gave up, and then now they already don't care no more. Remember they gave him the Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy. He came on the main roster. They gave him the U.S. title, right? They made him a constable. They made him Applebee's waiter. What else they did? They made him king of the ring.
The sad, depressed, homeless guy.
They made him the Lone Wolf, LOAN.
Yeah. It's just like with Corbin, it's kind of like
they keep trying and
I truly believe that any other promotion, Corbin probably would have been champ twice as a heel. Because he know how to get heel heat.
He has go away heat for me.
Yeah. So what?
He has go away heat with me. It's like I just don't want to see the fucking dude.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, like
this version of Corbin? No, I don't like it.
Well, any version.
Corbin.
I like the first version.
I like the not gonna lie. I like broke Corbin. Like I actually like that one. I'm gonna lie. That was over with me.
That was funny. Me, I like the Lone Wolf when he first came in.
He's like, please, if you could keep $1. $10,000 of y'all in here.
Well, that's actually the only time anybody liked him. Apparently, like I've seen it on videos and in interviews. No one ever says a good word about him at all. But then when he was doing that, when he was poor, I never saw any of it.
How did he?
But everybody was like ready to give the guy an Oscar. They should have left him as a poor slob.
They never said how he lost the money. They never said
because he lost the crown and then his wife left him.
His wife left. Oh,
he lost the crown, became poor. How that make sense?
It's WWE. Does any of the shit they do sometimes make sense?
Jesus Christ, kids, save your fucking money.
They don't get shit cohesive, dog.
Take some advice from me real quick. save your fucking money, guys. Jesus Christ.
It's just because, like I said, I mean, I think Corbin has potential to be a great heel and could be a great heel champion with the right push. If they push him right, they keep sticking him with bullshit ass gimmicks that don't get him over.
I think he lost the crown and went on a losing streak, right?
Yeah.
And so he's talking about, oh, I'm homeless. I can't afford to eat. I don't have clothes to wear. I can't take a shower because he keeps losing his matches. So that means up until 2015, like 7 years ago, you were a fucking bum. They don't pay the guy to work at WWE.
I'm saying, you feel me? And then all of a sudden he goes to a casino and plays what is it, Blackjack 21, and hit it big, and now he's a multi-millionaire. Which I was like, I kind of like that. But then when he came out with Madcap Moss, I said, y'all lost me again.
And that goes back to like the WWE and their way of thinking. For the first time since they brought this guy on TV anywhere, people were actually liking him and actually wondering.
Yeah,
people were waiting for his segment to come up, from what I've heard. So let's stop doing that. We have a guy that's like, just like literally when he comes on TV, you can actually hear the sound of buttons on the remote being clicked. And it's like, oh, you know what? People are liking him. Fans like it. Let's stop it. And that's like their logic. Like, you know, Bailey comes out, everybody's happy. Like, oh, well, then we have to like put a potato sack on Bailey, and, you know, we have to shave her head and paint it purple and whatever, you know. And it's just, I don't know. Like, I know when they first brought him out, they were trying to do that like rock star, like, you know, bad boy look, but he
was
lost a lot of weight.
All hell.
He just
didn't
like
look goddamn like the what you call it, my tongue. Jesus Christ, he looks like the generic like character in a wrestling game, like in SmackDown vs. Raw.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
He looks,
he looks better now physically. You know, when they were trying to push him they were trying to push him as this good-looking bad boy, and they're like, well, the dude's losing his hair, and he just lost a fuck ton of weight, so he had that loose skin. So he looked like a dude with stepdad bod in Axl Rose pants with, you know, like a growing long-haired skull cap. And then he, again, wasn't a really great worker. And then they put a shirt on him, and finally he shaved his head. But again, the guy's just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't fucking care. But the WWE apparently...
He needs to be homeless again. I'm sorry. Like, he needs to do an angle. He needs to do it. That was ironically.
I mean, he has a clear.
No, but see, I'm gonna tell you what it was. They thought it was gonna be a face change, and they fooled everybody. And went back to being a heel
because they did. Yeah, I remember they did a scene backstage where like somebody robbed him. Yeah, and
see, if they did the face change, I think people would have got behind him even more because they've been like, okay. Yeah, we like it because it was seeming that because the fans wanted it. We done seen this motherfucker heel ever since he been here. We never seen him as a face. So now y'all built him up to be so sympathetic. Go ahead.
I think only in that hyper-specific context can he be a face when he's like a bum down on his luck. Only in that hyper-specific moment and context can he be a face because I don't know. He looks like a heel. He walks and sounds like a heel. To me, he's like a natural heel. Like,
yeah.
Other than being like a bum down on his luck, right, and saying stupid funny shit, right, and begging and getting beat up by other babyface. Only in that hyper specific context is he a babyface. And I think they need to do an angle, type of angle where like he goes gambling. And he loses this time, all his bread, money gambling, and then he's a bum again, and then just be a bum, a mid-card bum guy, make some money ironically in real life, and all be fine.
Well, I know this much. I'm done with talking about
the World Wrestling Entertainment will have some entertainment and everything else in between, and yeah, I think that's the best thing he can do for himself is be a bum.
Yeah. That's sad. The only way you get over is being a bum. pretending to be broke and poor and destitute.
I mean, sad for who? It's really not me. I'll be a bum for millions of dollars, 6 figures.
You ain't lying, goddamn. I'll take it.
I'll be a bum for 6 figures or 7 figures.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
So now we get to the main event, the 6-man tag, which now before we even go into the actual thing, they said that this was actually the plan from jump. That the Rouge was them unifying the tag titles, but this was what the match supposed to be in the first place. Which brings the question, why the fuck did y'all even go the route for talking about unification? Y'all could have just built it up as a damn 6-man.
Yeah, yeah, like this match by itself, right? As an island, the match itself was very good, was great, right?
Yeah.
But the story leading up to it and the outcome leading from it is, it doesn't make any sense. Like, if you think about it, right? The whole match set up right from the beginning, from phase 1, right? From step 1, right? Was Roman saying, all right, so I got both singles belts. You only got one of the tag belts. There's 2 out there. So you guys are being commissioned. Go to Raw and bring me the Raw belts, right? The Raw tag belts right now. That's your mission, right? So now fast forward, right? They built the match, they teased the match, they promoted the match, all that stuff, right? They're doing a contract signing, right? Roman comes out and tears the contract apart and feeds it to Riddle, right? He wanted the belts. He wanted the match in the first place. Why did he tear the contract up? What? Hello?
You know, I think that WWE lied to the public. Y'all was thinking about doing the unification tag title.
Well, hold on real quick. I'm not talking about like real life. I'm talking about storyline. Doesn't make sense. Yeah. Why did Roman in the storyline tear the contract up and like pretty much like
and then shoved it and then turn right around and talk so I want a 6-man tag. What?
Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And that's always been WWE's problem for years, like on end. Like they don't pay attention to detail. The stuff doesn't make sense. Shit just happens. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no explanation, no exposition. And I wasn't even sure how to rate this match. But to be fair, right? Like the match itself was very good. I gave it 3.5 stars. But like I gave it a thumbs in the middle because like, well, what's next? And not only that, like, okay, so the heels won, but what did they win? Nothing. The babyfaces didn't lose anything.
Nor did you set up a strong challenger for Roman after this, off of this.
Exactly. Nothing was set up.
Because Orton was over. Actually, if you want to be honest, that's your money match. Orton versus Roman.
Well, yeah. And it's something different because like we never saw babyface Orton versus heel Roman.
No, we never had. Never got that.
Yeah.
Because to me, but
where were you last night?
Where was I?
No, where were they? The pay-per-view. Where were they?
They were. God dang it, I can't remember. Let me look and see.
Because I'm curious, why was Randy in particular so over last night?
I think it might have been intention.
What do you think?
No, I didn't want to say Lewis. No, I forgot what it is. But Randy lately he just been over like that though. He just been over like that because Randy has gotten that cachet now that we can love him and hate him at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I've never been interested in Randy Orton, and
what?
I just never. That's part of the reason why I stopped watching him and Cena. But part of the reason why I stopped watching wrestling in the early aughts and everything. And honestly, they've used him. That was their routine for a while, where they would crown a new champion, like a new champion, and then like, oh, your next challenger is Orton, and you're never really going to get an upper hand on Orton. So like that's why I call him the Apex Albatross, because it's like if they give you Orton right after they give you the title, that means you ain't going to be champ for very, very long, and you ain't going to be seeing that belt again for a while, or if ever, because it's because again, no one ever really gets over on him, and I just never gave a shit. I liked his dad more, but I just don't care, and never did. I know he's a lot of people's favorite and everything, but just never. I mean, I like him more in interviews, like when he was interviewed by Stone Cold and everything. I like him, but don't care. I think but the thing is, he's actually aging in reverse, and he looks better than he did when he was 21. So who knows when he's going to retire? I mean, and his shoulders seem to be holding up, because that was what was plaguing him for a while. Because when you think about doing the RKO and that, like, he actually threw out his shoulder doing the little, fist stomp thing that he does before he does it. And he actually popped his shoulder out doing that. So, but his shoulders seem to be holding up, and he seems, like getting a rest being in a tag team. I mean, he's definitely probably going to have another challenge for the title or another run before he retires. But, I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon.
He's not. Yeah. 20 years. I mean, they had his 20-year anniversary not that long ago. What, 12 months ago? His 20-year anniversary.
Yeah. Out of that class, he's the last one in WWE. If you think about it, out of that class that he came in with.
Yeah. Everybody either got, they kind of retired or kind of fell out of favor. Cena finally latched on to Hollywood, but Orton doesn't really have any interest in any of that kind of stuff.
Batista left Hollywood. Who else? No, I take it back. Dolph Ziggler's still there because he came in.
But Dolph was in that class with Orton, 2001 with Ohio Valley.
Wait a second. Was he? No, was he? I swear he might have been. I thought no, he came a little bit after Orton. He came a little bit after.
Yeah.
Because I think Orton, who was always there? Somebody was there. God dang it. From Stage was there, I think.
Cena, Lesnar, believe it or not, Samoa Joe was actually in that class.
Oh, and Shelton Benjamin.
There's a guy that they dropped the ball on.
God knows they did. I mean, I thought he was gonna be world champ at one point.
He could have been. I mean, and everybody says, like, people who actually were in the room say that he was a better athlete and technically a better wrestler than in amateur and in the ring than Lesnar. They just just good looking. Just a good looking black guy that could do everything and eventually caught on with charisma. What are we going to do with him? I'm like, I don't know. Push him.
If I went into the past, like, let me see, saw Benjamin's prime with 2005, 2006, right? If I went to the past and saw, like, my 10, 11-year-old self, right? And I was like, hey, listen, you do know that he's never going to become world champion, and he's going to just be he's going to be just a jobber guy and a guy who's there. I would be like, you're full of shit. Get the fuck out of here. So this guy, he's a star.
He's a star everywhere he goes, and he's like a main eventer everywhere else he goes because everybody else knows how to use him.
If I went back in time somehow, right? Like, dude, I'm sorry. I love Saul Benjamin too, but he never actually becomes big in WWE. I'm sorry. I'd be like, you're full of shit. You're lying. You're playing. Stop playing. Because the Penguins find handsome in a guy, like, he's handsome, like, he can move, he can work, he has a background. In real life, he can outrun Brock Lesnar. Because there's a story about that when they did like a little running race type thing back then, like in their college days, and like Shawn would always win. Shawn always beat him 1-on-1 back in real life. I don't know what happened. Like, why? Like, who did he piss off? Like, what? I really don't know what happened. It kind of is. No, it's sad, disheartening, really.
In all the years of reading and listening to podcasts and everything, I've never heard anybody say an absolute bad word about him. It's I think the fault is the WWE in that they just didn't, like, for whatever reason, it didn't click with Vince. But that's why he was part of a great tag team, and then everywhere else he went,
the greatest tag team.
Yeah, he was a part of, he was a star and a main eventer everywhere else he went. WWE it's one of those things. Again, if one guy doesn't, whatever. That's the problem. And I think, he was killing it in Japan. And I would think had he stayed, he could have transitioned to AEW, or by now he probably would have been in the world title picture. But he's getting on in years. And I think he just went back to WWE because it's like, well, I'm going to work half the time for more money. And he's just kind of getting that last.
I'm going to tell you what's funny. He was so figured in Japan. It shocked me that he left Japan to come back.
Well, I think because right as he came back, he immediately got injured. I think his body is kind of hitting the wall.
I think where he left Japan and he came to Ring of Honor, and he teamed back up with Charlie Haas, because that when they used to have the feud against the Kings of Wrestling and the Briscoes back in the day when Ring of Honor was on HD Net. Yes, I keep on Ring of Honor. But at one point, the way the push he was getting when he was in New Japan, I thought that he was going to get one of the major titles because he was with Suzuki Guns and he was getting high-profile matches.
He probably would have, but I think he kind of was like, in his mind, he's winding down his career, and it's, they're probably paying him very, very well. And he's getting a paycheck, and he doesn't really have to do anything. And who knows, when his contract runs out or they finally release him, he can have like a part-time last run in any company and go out on a high note. I think it was more strategic and I'm just gonna wind down the career on a big paycheck and and so on. And because again, he came from Japan and then immediately injured, and they didn't use him. Same thing with Johnny Boy, Smith. They didn't. He came back from Japan where he was a star, and again, I didn't even know he was in the WWE until they announced that they released him, and it was like, okay, again, this guy everywhere he goes, he's like a star, and he's figured in, but it's one of those things again, WWE, it's like. It's either you break that wall where you get to do whatever you want, the Edge, Becky Lynch, Roman Reigns, Orton thing, or you're just kind of floating around in that little, secondary class, business class. And then there's people that I've been here 13 years and I've had 57 matches, but I make $95,000 a year plus some merch money. And I've been here for 13 years. It's like just one of those things, it's like that one toy in your toy box that you never really played with, but you never threw away. And that's like the three classes of WWE. It's like, and who knew? And it's like any random day to where you might, move into the other class and, and maybe whatever. It's just, and again, it'll be interesting to see when Vince is gone, how the company is run, especially now that I don't think he'll go to Triple H. So it's going to be interesting.
What about Stephanie? You saw her on Evil? WWE Evil?
Yeah, I saw that Evil.
Well, you can't be a heel when you go out there and bury everybody and nobody could get comeuppance on you. It's basically, it was like the ego trip. She was just going out there. That's why Dusty was the only one to stand up to her on TV, and then they never let him on TV again. And then here's the best part: when he dies, she's like, "Oh," she said on a tweet like, "Oh, I always loved working with him." I'm like, "Really? That's why you banished the American Dream from TV? That's part of your legacy. You literally killed Dusty Rhodes on TV. Like, you're the sole reason we didn't get to see him on TV in his last years because he dare stand up to you on camera." Like, she is her father's daughter. Like, and
you think she's gonna be the one to run the company when Vince is gone?
I think they are. I think eventually they're going to sell it, and then they're going to get like little sweetheart spots. I think with the health stuff with Triple H and just the way they bastardized his baby and how they kind of fucked him. I don't know if he would. I don't know if he wants to run the WWE at this point. I mean, I think he's got money and he's got the admiration, and he could go anywhere, get a job. He'll, like I said, they'll probably secure little spots for Stephanie and Triple H when they sell the company, but if anybody's gonna run it, it'll be her, and she's basically a female. She's a fuckable Vince, basically, is what she is.
Yeah, pretty much. So shoot. So of course, as you know, the Bloodline won. It was a great match. It was a pretty good match. I can't even complain about that. But like I said, to me, very surprised that the Bloodline won. Very surprised. No one has been made to. Well, I mean, don't get it twisted. McIntyre and it looks like it's either going to be McIntyre or. Damn it! I just said the
Orton.
Orton. They're going to challenge for him because they look the strongest, way more stronger than Riddle did. And it's interesting how Riddle also took the pin. Mm-hmm. Also. So it's kind of like, to me, I think that's next up. But even more so, how much longer is Roman going to be in WWE? Because he's looking to go Hollywood. And Nick Khan made it very clear that's one of the things that they plan to do with Roman.
I mean, he can act. He did a little cameo in a movie I saw, and he was actually good. I mean, I think the dude could pull I mean, he's obviously got the looks, but I mean, he actually does have some acting ability, so I think he would be good in Hollywood. And again, it's more money and less wear and tear on your body. And the funny thing is, when wrestlers transition to Hollywood, they actually, like Batista especially, because he just went all in and fell off the map for a few years, whereas The Rock and Cena, kind of had their foot in wrestling and stayed on TV and everything and kept that money coming in. But when these guys like Cena, Batista, and The Rock all earned the spots they have in Hollywood, and they're actually good actors, and they're very versatile. They're willing to do different things and step out of stereotype. So, they actually make really good actors and movie stars because they've proven that they can, crawl before they walk. Roman, I think, could do the same thing, and he's gotten about as big as he can get. So it might be another year or two. It might be time to let that wet hair hit the silver screen, and maybe, like, honestly, if the guy who's playing Aquaman now didn't get the part, I mean, think about it, Aquaman right there, or live action. What was that? That cartoon movie that The Rock voiced about the Maori. I mean, there's a billion things you could do with Roman, and he could do comedy, which is,
Yeah.
And also fuck him for being that good looking and actually having like genuine talent. Fuck you, Roman. Fuck you and fuck your hair.
Oh my God. So yeah, I mean,
you might be onto something here, Billy. Might be onto something, because like I might stop like a Roman too, based on that point, because like everybody that I hate in wrestling, like my friend and my daughter, right? They both seem to like I hate Orange Cassidy, and like my daughter saw him one time and like fell in love with him, and one time what's it called? I think it was that promo that Roman cut on Edge one time, talking about, why would you play games with me, right? And she came in and saw that and said, "Oh, I love Roman Reigns. He activates the WAP."
Yeah, no, I mean, well, with the Cassidy thing, it makes sense. Like, again, he is literally
playing games with you. I'm sorry.
Roman, I mean, with Orange, I get why people like the thing, because he's a hipster, and hipsters, it's that thing. It's like that cool, whatever little gimmick. So younger people, Roman Reigns, I can see why people liked him, get a good looking guy, and then finally he's being allowed to show his true potential. It's
what's
actually,
the name of the guy? What's the guy in TN? What's the name of the guy in AEW? With the face paint.
Oh, Danhausen.
Sting. No, he's with Sting.
Are you talking about Darby Allin?
Yeah, Darby Allin. That's my daughter's favorite wrestler.
I like Darby.
Yeah, he won me over, and he really, again, he works like a guy that his size, because he lays it in, and he does things like, basically he's like a Rey Mysterio. He is a Rey Mysterio, not Marco Stunt. And also, again, it's that that kind of lean, brooding kind of. He's a good-looking kid, just like Orange Cassidy. That kind of, he's brooding. He's but whatever, skateboards, you're like cool. I mean, I was never cool, and I'm still not cool. That's why and my childhood sucked, so that's why I actually lucked out in the long run. That I like getting older. My life gets better as I get older, and I was never cool or hip, and I never will be. So I just kind of like the stuff I like. But younger kids or teens or even girls in their 20s, like if Orange Cassidy and Darby walked into an expo and like, oh, we're new talents, fucking girls would be like literally from the roof descending down upon them, and companies would be like making paper airplanes and throwing contracts at their face because they just kind of got that cool generational swagger to them. For me, yeah, that shit never happened. So it's like,
no, I like Darby Allin also, but I like him less and less. I see him because I know my daughter loves him, and because I think he's a bad influence. Because
he's definitely, with some of the stuff he does in his personal life, he's definitely one of those people that I would probably sit my kid down and go, look, you ain't doing any of that shit, and he's lucky that he's still in good shape. You ain't doing any of that stupid shit.
There was a clip of him fucking jumping off a bridge into
a
body of water.
And he got sick. From that shit.
But see, what people don't realize is that he also is a stuntman on the side, and all that good stuff. So all the bumps he take them for real in real life.
And
outside of wrestling.
And I watched that with her, and it's like, that was so cool. I'm like, no, it's stupid. It could be in that fucking water.
Oh no! I say it's crazy what some of the people do off.
He got sick, right? But not only that, you got sharp shit. Shit you could fall and impale yourself on.
Yeah.
I don't want my fucking
hitting water. Here's a little known fact. Like hitting the water is like hitting. I mean, and I've jumped off a few bridges in my day. I had a buddy that was on a swim team once, and whenever they would bring people in, to start training on the swim team, the coach, this is back in the 80s, he took a small caliber pistol, it shot it into a bucket of water, and then essentially showed that it did never hit the bottom and it didn't break the bucket, to give them a very strong example of you can break your neck very easily. Like, you have to train and you have to have the form, because that's how hard the water is. Because once you hit it, and here's the funny thing: people, when they jump off bridges, never technically drown. It's the fall that kills. It's like hitting. It's like a broken neck or your ribs or whatever. And drowning is, if you drown, it's because
getting sick or laying on something bad that can impale you. You die on the impact. Darby went downstream. He's seen in 3 days.
I mean, it's that's the thing. He's been very lucky, and I think he should quit while he's ahead. But it's. I mean, hopefully it doesn't catch up with him. But I mean, it's eventually. And AEW's kind of bumbled his push a little bit. Like, he's lost a little steam. Again, the AEW really needs to work on their rivalries and their feuds, because Darby
put him in a. One, they took the TNT belt off him too fast. That's one. He should have had a way longer title run. Because I don't want to hear that where he's one of them guys that he don't need a title. No, because even those guys need the title at some point and have to have a title run. So they pretty much took the title off of him. They never gave him a return match against Miro, so we didn't get to see that feud, because that would have made him.
Where the hell is Miro?
Injured.
Okay.
Injured. But yeah, because this is what I mean, because I had an argument with someone. I said, AEW don't do long-term feuds. They do. They do long-term feuds. They do. Think about what happened with Omega and such and such. I said, no, y'all missing the point. Soon as a motherfucker lose the belt, how many times do we see a rematch? Very seldom.
Well, here's the thing. Tony Khan isn't shy about letting people know that we don't really do rematches.
Yeah, and that's the stupidest fucking policy ever. It makes no sense. Because here's the thing: if I'm the champion, Gerald, and you beat me in any competition, then, basically you might as well make up the guest bedroom, because I'm going to be so far up your ass until I get my shot again. You're going to think that we're like the two-headed monster, and even then, it's like, and rivalries make wrestling. That's why, like, Dusty versus the Horsemen, the Road Warriors, and Midnight, Rock and Roll and Midnight, Steamboat Flair, Wahoo and Valentine. If it's a good match and the fans want to see it, I don't know. Like, that is the one thing, if I ever meet Tony, I'd like, dude, that is probably one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever heard anybody say when it pertains to wrestling. Because you got no feuds and you got no rematches. So what the fuck? And, and half your show is with these jerk-offs that wouldn't let mow my lawn. So, like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, come on. Like, you gotta tighten the reins here, and enough with the George Goulas gang, enough with Orange Julius. I want like a tag division. Oh, and the women's division still is kind of trash, because like Riho has made a reappearance, and her and whatever that fucking elf was that she was wrestling, that was the shittiest match, and they shamed every Japanese woman wrestler. It's like, especially that one botched move. I'm like, what are you two idiots doing? It's like, why are these people on TV? Like, why are you still trying to push Rio? And what's with the elf? Like, is she gonna make my shoes? Like, what is she doing?
Who's the elf? I don't know who you're referring to.
I had to go back and look, but no.
Well, no,
but
Rio this week. Riho made. She's back now, and she wrestled another Japanese wrestler, and the other Japanese wrestler she literally looked like if Patton Oswalt were Japanese and then dressed like an elf. That was her, and the match was shit. And and a female Japanese wrestling kept women's wrestling alive from basically the 80s and 90s, and those motherfuckers laid it in. And it had matches. Like, holy shit! So there's a lineage there, and these two, and again, Riho never impressed me, and it's like, and she almost like fucked up Riho like really bad, and some like a massive botch move off of the top rope, and then the ending was like weird and lame, and it's like, okay, I guess Omega must be coming back, because now there's going to be all this like ridiculous. And again, I don't care if your entire division is Japanese or Mexican or like whatever good wrestlers you get, but don't just because they're from Japan and a Japanese wrestler does not mean they're a good wrestler.
Did you see the commercial about what's it called, Asian Pacific Heritage Awareness Month or whatever it was?
I saw that.
And yet Tony Khan pretty much saying the reason why he has all these Asian Japanese schoolgirls fighting wrestling on his television, because he's trying to bring what he said a new appreciation and awareness for Asian Pacific wrestlers or whatever.
Yeah. Again, I'm all for unity and trying to expand the horizons and everything, but here's the problem. There's a difference between making opportunities available and then like panhandling, and if you can leave the door open, like there's Asuka and there was Kairi Sane and so on, like you have to be good. Like, I'm not gonna you can call me an old white racist all you want, I'm not gonna put you on my fucking show just because you're Japanese. I don't care. If you're a wrestler and you're happy to be gay or trans, I don't care. And again, I'll leave that to you, how you want to represent that on TV. But are you good? So it's like there's a difference between having a diverse roster that actually is a roster, and then just a bunch of people. So you, that way nobody goes, well, you're racist. Like, no. Again, you have to be fucking qualified to have the job. It's the whole point of the inclusiveness is to leave the field even, so everybody can try to get the job, and the best person, whoever that may be.
Now, also mind you on this, Riho is not the best one out of Star. So she was the mid-card champion. She never held the top belt. Even though Riho, don't get twisted, she give good matches. I give her that for her size. But if you're going to go to Japan, it's kind of like, and you're going to grab, let's say, from Star. You got Cara Sane is over there. Why you didn't bring her over?
Well, she wanted to go back to Japan. I think she's kind of done with the U.S. for now.
No, I know, but I'm pretty sure she'll take the check to come back just to do this tournament. You feel what I'm coming from?
I don't know. I rolled my eyes when,
and they just dropped the ball in Abaddon. Damn. I'm like,
well, again, that's a very specific look and gimmick, and that's something that you got to really build a story around, because she obviously is not going to do promos, and she's really is good at that makeup.
I mean, they could have built it. I mean, shit, hell, there's no telling. I mean, hell, you said he got big mouth, Big Guerrero one because you could have brought Father Mitchell in to goddamn.
Yes, I was just gonna say that, motherfucker. Yes, but again, it's also it's a two-way street. Like you could have done something with her, but you needed to make the effort and stay with it. And Tony obviously is a short-term booker, which it's like, okay, you need to stretch your legs.
You got 3 months. Oh, you get 3 months.
Oh, guys, get this. The breaking news. Cody Rhodes will challenge Theory for the United States title tonight on WWE Raw. That's on WWE's own Facebook. Posted it just now.
Well, he has to win it because you can't beat Rhodes right now.
Yeah, you're going to have to put the U.S. title on him, because unless you have it, he wins by disqualification because of Seth Rollins interfering, because that's the only thing I can think of how they would break that up without Cody winning the belt. But why are you going to throw Theory, who just won the title, against Cody, your hottest wrestler?
Because they seem hell-bent on burying what they just built up. I don't know, and also, again, they took away his, theory. Like, I got a theory. You're fucking, the way you name your wrestlers is fucking
by
stupid.
the way, what the fuck? What is his name? Is he's named after a hypothesis? That's his name?
He supposed to be, this is funny as fuck.
Was that he's unproven? That's why his name's Theory?
I don't actually. I do not know why he came up with the name.
That's what Theory is. He's a
hypothesis. His name should be hypothesis. Triangle. Hypotenuse.
The way they come up with names is so fucking stupid. It's just, and again, it's the obsession with they have to own everything, and it's like, you can still own it and have it be good. Just because you make it up doesn't automatically make it good. If you have to, like I said with Walter, you could have changed the spelling of the name a little bit or used a V instead of a W, and now you own it. It's like, oh, well, now we're gonna call them, we're gonna call them.
It seems to be the NXT guys. You notice that, right? Like who were on NXT a year ago,
because
the weird ass name changes and the weird ass gimmicks.
Because Vince hates the indies. He hates anything that's professional wrestling that he does not consider the sports entertainment. Those names harken back to their profession. He's the only reason why they didn't change Cody Rhodes, because he already had the Cody Rhodes name. He already bought the name.
Theory is a WWE original. Like, he wasn't on the indies.
No. Austin Theory was never with WWE. Actually, he was with Evolve. He was the Evolve champion.
Austin Theory?
Austin Theory, yes, he was. He was with Evolve. The Evolve got bought by WWE, and that's how he came over. He was originally the Evolve champion.
How old is he? 22, 25?
He's young.
There was a documentary.
He became young.
I found out about Theory because he was in some kind of documentary about indie wrestling. I forget what it was. It was on Amazon, but he was part of a documentary or something. And they were and this is when I think he was with Evolve or still even doing indies. Darby was in it and Ethan Page. And Ethan Page has like a company that runs I don't know if they're still around, but they used to run once a month. And Darby and Ethan Page were in this documentary, but they were following around Austin Theory, and they were saying like, oh, this guy's going to be with a major company soon, and so on and so forth. And it happened, but again, it's like just doing dumb shit. Like, again, everybody has to have a name, and it's weird. And again, it's all because Vince thinks it sounds better. Yeah. That's it. It's literally the answer to everything. Well, Vince, why was Brock Lesnar eating hard-boiled eggs in the ring? like during the match. Like, okay, why was Rhea Ripley dressed like Groucho Marx? Well, Vince likes it. There you go. Something. That's what Vince wanted.
CM Punk said it best. He was like some interview somewhere, some forum somewhere, right? And he was talking. I got a clip of it. He was talking about how I'm trying to see if I could quote him. He was like saying, "I don't care who you think you are. You don't know what you're doing, and no one has the balls to tell you this." About Vince, of course. So yeah, and hey, like, you guys disagree? Like, cause every time I try to say it to somebody, like, Vince is a senile old man, people going like, "Gerald, you're whatever the fuck." They're going to be in denial. I'm like, but do you guys agree with me or not? Like, I think Vince is a senile old man, and nobody has the balls to tell him what you're saying is stupid or not.
Here's the question that I ask you: how do you tell a billionaire that he don't know what the fuck he doing? You can't, because he's going to go back to the fact he made $1 billion.
But you know what's funny though? Like, I find it kind of ironic because like the biggest stars and the biggest success stories out of WWE are people who have either told Vince to fuck off or been able to tell Vince to fuck off. People like Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, The Click, The Rock, Austin, Batista, like Shawn would no show if Vince told him something stupid like that he didn't want to do. So with The Click, I remember granted it wasn't WWE, WWF or WWE, but there's a story about Ric Flair in WCW where they had like a little dry erase board, whatever you call it, chalkboard, right? And it was the match lineup for that night, and it was like him versus Finley. Mm-hmm. And nobody wanted to work with Finley because he was too stiff and too snug. So Ric Flair took the eraser and erased it. And up until like 2007 on SmackDown, right? They never fought each other one-on-one. Mm-hmm. And yeah. So my point is, right? It's like the biggest successes, the biggest stars in WWE have been people who told the motherfucker to fuck off. Like, mm-hmm. I'm not doing
But see, also, when you name off those wrestlers, they were not those wrestlers. Yeah, I said right, wrestlers. Think about it. When you said Cena, said Batista, who trained them? Billy?
Jim Cornette?
Jim Cornette and Danny Davis.
There you go. Danny Davis, Jim Cornette. That's why they were successful. Who the hell trained these motherfuckers now? People that came through the territory, they showed people how to get the fuck over. You have a bunch of motherfuckers that's back there now that never got the fuck over trying to tell these young people how to get the fuck over in a sport they never got over. Perfect example. John Laurinaitis, when did he ever get the fuck over? I'm waiting.
Yeah, no, he was like
when did he ever a big star?
He was mildly over in Japan. That's about it.
Yeah, he'll tell it. He was one of the biggest stars. Dude, they booked you because they had no one else to book at the damn time.
Who trained Charlotte?
Of course,
so
Rick.
It was Rick, but also like people. But here's the thing, they have good instructors at the center, but the problem is they are kind of had their hands tied to where they can't really teach them the way they normally would. They got to teach them the way the WWE tells them.
It's not about being taught or like who taught you. It's about like, to me, like the biggest stars the biggest stars and big success stories out of WWE or in WWE, right, have been people who told Vince or whoever that, no, this is fucking stupid. I'm not doing this. This makes no sense. People who like, I'm not gonna show up if you do this or whatever.
Yeah, but see, the people that was able to tell Vince that motherfucker that was making Vince so much damn money, he had to take it. Theory can't sit here and go to Vince and say, "Man, fuck this shit. You ain't gonna take my first name," because he ain't got the cachet nor the money power and the drawing power to tell Vince to go kiss off. Stone Cold had that ability. The Rock had that.
Remember when Charlotte and Becky had to do like a belt exchange, and both of them thought that was a stupid idea. Yeah. And Charlotte was like being difficult because on air, live on TV, because she didn't want to do it because it made it look weak or whatever, right? Like,
well, stupid.
She went to business for herself, and while she was unprofessional, right? Like, I kind of commend her for doing that, for because like she realized this is fucking stupid. Like this is making sense. I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do this. That was her mindset, and I kind of commend her for that. We need more people like that who like say, no, this is fucking stupid. I'm not going to do this. That's my point for the day. It's my point.
Yeah, most definitely. So, fellas, I got to cut this short, even though it wasn't short.
Well, you're about 3 hours too late for that.
Yeah, you ain't lying. So I got some other things I got to take care of. So with that being said, Mr. Gerald, tell everybody where they can find you and listen to you.
All right. Well, you can listen to us when it comes out. Probably be what, Thursday when it comes out, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, Wednesday. You'll be dropping Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday. All right.
Wednesday night.
So you're probably hearing us Wednesday night, Thursday morning, right?
Yep.
You already know SGP Radio. Get the Brand Your Precious app, iOS, Android, or just visit www.BGPlLCapp.com. You already know. What else? Listen, we should do this again on Twitter, like on Twitter Spaces. I got monetized recently. I want to try that out.
No doubt. So once again, thank you for coming.
Follow me on Twitter real quick at Gerald Roberts, Gerald Roberts, all one word. Already know.
Oh yeah, and trust me, he has some of the hottest. I feel honored to be on your radio station for who the hell you have on the radio station, wrestling wise. You know what I'm saying? Wow. It feels good to be on the station where you got Dave Meltzer and and your show. I'm like, yo, man, and Billy, we doing some shit with this podcast, bro.
Yeah, until eventually they're like, Kevin, we like you, but this angry guy that constantly says fuck, like, like, how attached to you are you to him? So I mean,
listen, this is why I have my own platform. Listen, YouTube can let me see. YouTube can suck my dick, and tell him I said that.
Amen.
Right? Because that's a whole other conversation for a whole other day. But just long story short, that's why I have my own platform, my own app, like my own.
It is interesting.
I make the rules and everything.
I just found this out that like even if you're a top like a person that makes massive money with YouTube, you actually can't get a hold of anybody from YouTube. So like the same way I try to get solve a problem through YouTube, somebody like like a major YouTuber has to do the same thing, and you would think like, okay, well this person literally just made enough to buy a house and spend a month in Mexico. You would think when they call you, you would answer, because whatever you're giving them, you're definitely getting a nice little cut of that before she even sees it. So it's like, yeah, YouTube is a weird thing. I'm slowly easing my way into like the idea of a channel. I just, again, I just get consumed.
The reason I brought that up is because it's just to expound on your point real quick. Billy, you're welcome on my platform anytime, because like I want people to say whatever they want to say. I'm saying like no censorship, candid.
I appreciate that.
No pull, no punches. Just let me hear it. Like, what you gotta say? Like, tell me how you feel.
And two, you don't ramble no different than our friend of the show and who we so admire. We both proud cult members of Jim Cornette. Fuck that.
Wait, say that again.
Now I said, he don't rant no different than Jim Cornette.
But Jim does it way better. I can't. My ranting is pretty good when I get.
Yeah, I love Jim Cornette. I'm sorry.
Jim. Although I will say this, I ordered the new figures, the bloody variant and the commentary table a month ago, and I did it like right at the point when they went on sale. And apparently, by ordering two, I doomed myself to like being the last on the list.
Yeah,
get mailed out.
I have a confession.
Go ahead.
I am Hotchkiss Feather Bottom.
So
I'm lying. I'm supposed to see your reaction, but
I was about to say, how the fuck you get your shit read on the show and I can't? You know how many questions I just sent to Jim Cornette and they never answered my shit?
Oh, I have one question for him that I sent in a few times and I gave up. And I actually met Jim and I completely forgot to ask him. It was like something that he did with Abdul the Butcher on NWA Power Hour. And I just wanted to know the story behind it. but I can't get my question on the show. I'm gonna maybe now that I'm talking about it, I'll retry it. Maybe try to reword the question, but
maybe they actually listen to the podcast. If you're listening, Jim, the next time one of us send a damn question, could you please get Brian Lance to ask the shit, please?
I'll try.
I'm tired of what to do from Starksville. What's his name? I'm tired of him getting read all the goddamn time. Yeah, I'm tired of him getting his shit read all the goddamn time. Shit. Damn it. So with that being said, yeah, I'm going to have to shut this down. So you know how we always end this, people. Thank you, Mr. Roberts, for coming back. And we're going to bring you back. Actually, I want to bring you back for Pro Wrestling Smoke so we can talk about. No, go ahead. What you about to say?
Billy?
Hello?
Yeah?
No, I was talking to Gerald. I said, it's a pleasure. I definitely want to bring you back for Pro Wrestling Smoke so we can. I'll let you know what the topic will be that day. Cause I would love to hear your thoughts on whatever we talk about. And for you people that's listening, Pro Wrestling Smoke is part of the Premium Smoke Room. $4.99 a month. You get the opportunity to enjoy 5 weekly podcasts for a nice, lovely fee, and we get more raunchier, we get more candid and more open. And Pro Wrestling Smoke is one of those podcasts. We pick a nice little topic, we go deep with it. Definitely going to bring you on for one of those, Mr. Roberts.
All right, yo, listen, have you back on next week because I could talk. I'll look to the May 11th show, AEW show. That's on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, we definitely got to bring him back for that, Billy, because I want to hear what it's like live.
So I told you I got tickets. I'm not even sure. Okay, so let me tell you the truth real quick before you head off the air.
Okay.
I don't have them yet in my hand. Like I gotta go through the day off to get the tickets from the dude that I done up before. So depending on what happens when I try to get the tickets, right, might be a whole different story. I tell you, come Wednesday or Thursday when we do the show. Will I be there in person? Will I not be there in person? Will I be like a fucking idiot in front of my girl? Let's find out.
Well, we're gonna bring him back so we can hear the story. So with that being said, life is a learning experience. What's the point of the experience? You didn't learn anything. Billy, sign off.
And until next time, when it's Vader time, we'll see you then.
Yes.
All right.
Deuces, we out.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Black Wall Street is now online, baby. That's right. Visit the GW District. Shop the very best in men's and women's apparel and accessories, home decor, office supplies, books, pantry items, and so much more. The GW District is a retail marketplace of Black-owned products and media. We're both veteran and Black-owned, and we're bringing you the best online shopping experience with products made by small businesses. Come and experience the GW District difference today at shopgwdistrict.com. That's shopgwdistrict.com. The GW District, a retail marketplace of Black-owned products and media.
That's right. That's right.